The story begins in a kingdom covered in snow in the north, and the master of this place is Grand Duke Barris Viliet. In that cold kingdom there is a girl sitting by the window. That girl will get married here today. The ruler of this kingdom is Grand Duke Barris Viliet. He is a war hero recognized by everyone, but not only that, he is also a ruthless person feared by all. He once buried his father with his own hands at the age of 9. For the next 2 years, he kept a close eye on his father's killer, pretending to be a war orphan and cleaning his own stables. Finally, when Barris gained that person's trust, and no longer raised any suspicion, he successfully exacted his revenge. Although criticized for his deceitfulness, he did not care. After that, Barris lived on the battlefield for 16 years. Then, step by step, he led the empire to victory. But there is a very important issue. Barris becomes savage and brutal every full moon. For him to open his eyes and acknowledge the sacrifice, Barris has 2 names, the hero and the butcher. The female lead of this story is Violet. Today is the day she has to marry a butcher. And that butcher is none other than Barris. There is a long list of ladies and noblewomen qualified to marry Barris. They are just waiting for his approval. But I do not understand why he chose Violet, someone who had no parents and nothing except for her name. Was it because she was beautiful? Or was it love at first sight? But no, that is not it. A butcher would never do that. Even when he lost interest, he probably just wanted to find a woman, because today, after the first night, Barris planned to imprison the lady for the rest of her life. How could she have known everything? At this moment, Violet is holding her head, thinking, is not this a novel I have read before? She looked up at the sky and cried out, even though this is a romance novel, is not this a bit too much? This is really such a waste. Violet remembered before she was transported here, someone came up to her and started a conversation. Hey Violet, you are reading a novel again, let us start rehearsing now. Violet responded to the other person, got it, sales during winter holiday were terrible. I do not want to read anything else. It was awful. Violet continued, it felt like a joke. You do not like things like this, do you? Violet smiled and thought to herself, I have finished reading it. Back to reality, Violet thought. Even though I have finished the whole novel, I can't escape having to go to bed tonight. She took a reluctant step, and it got even worse when she woke up to find the ceremony was over, and she had to wait for Barris in the room. She lay straight down on the bed. If I run away, it will be even worse. How can I escape when I do not have a penny? Violet looked at her hand. This body is beautiful but too skinny. Before being transported here, when she did not have any money, Violet would only eat seaweed and rice to get by, yet she was healthier than in this current body. Violet's eyes began to droop. This is trouble. I am so sleepy. If I do not escape today, I will become a prisoner for the rest of my life. Just as Violet was dozing off, someone walked in from outside holding a lantern. Violet woke up when she saw the light. It was too bright. Has Barris returned to his room? After resting, Violet sat up. In the story, he is considered a cruel duke. She looked at Barris with sparkling eyes, wondering if he was really that scary. Seeing Barris's body, Violet thought, he is so tall, but I did not expect him to be this frightening. Suddenly Barris asked, what are you doing here? Hearing the question, Violet immediately replied, I am sorry, I was just a bit sleepy. Violet's face showed a bit of sadness. I will leave as quickly as I can, so do not worry. Hearing that, Barris glanced at her. Violet, who was preparing, suddenly felt a chill down her spine. She looked at Barris, thinking it might be hard to escape now that he is back in the room. Barris placed the lamp on the table and said, go to sleep, but... He did not let Violet continue, just go to sleep. Seeing Barris's intimidating face, Violet quickly lay down. Yes. She closed her eyes tightly, thinking, even though he is a bit scary, he is still handsome. He looks like a bear, kind of cute. Lost in thought, Violet fell asleep without realizing it. Anyway, why do I feel a flutter when I see his face? Whatever, I am too sleepy. Seeing Violet asleep, Barris remained silent, saying nothing. He gently sat down beside Violet. No one knew what Barris was thinking at that moment, but he clenched his hand so tightly that the veins bulged, his gaze terrifying as he watched the sleeping Violet. When Violet woke up again, it was already morning. Violet touched the spot beside her where someone had slept, but it was cold. Did Barris sleep somewhere else? Violet got up from the bed and stretched out contentedly. She felt a bit lonely, but was not this better? She had slept so well. As she was thinking, Violet suddenly noticed something across from her. It was Barris sitting nearby. There he was. Seeing Violet wake up, Barris glanced in her direction. Violet thought to herself, the day looks much better in the light. She spoke up, I did not see the day, so I thought the day was somewhere else. Suddenly, Violet felt something was off. When she looked at her outfit, Violet suddenly panicked. After thinking, she quickly hid under the blankets. Lying there, Violet was flustered. What should I do? I am in my husband's house. I thought it was just a coincidence, but it turned out to be real. Barris sat looking out the window, thinking I got married yesterday. Most people are afraid of me and do not even dare to look me in the eye. Even the servants do not have a kind look for me. There is no way I will have a normal marriage. You started thinking about Violet, and I even married someone nicknamed the devil, that poor woman. But Barris kept recalling Violet's gaze, especially from yesterday, and even what just happened a moment ago. Barris remembered the expression and the words Violet said right after waking up. I did not see the day, so I thought it was somewhere else. He hesitated, wondering if she was afraid of him too. It seemed like she viewed him as just an ordinary man. At this moment, Barris had a terrible headache thinking about all of this. After a while of pondering, Barris sighed, what a waste of time. He got up from his seat. What a ridiculous thought. As Barris just arrived, Violet poked her head out of the painting. It seems like he is about to leave. She quickly jumped out of bed and ran off. Maybe he is giving me space to change. Violet stood in front of a wardrobe. Besides, he looks so different from the original novel, does not he? Violet imagined Barris holding torture devices. Did not he do things like this back in the day? Violet picked out an outfit. There is no way that is going to happen, right? Then she fumbled with the outfit. But how do you even wear this? I need to read more romance novels. After a while, Barris returned to the room. Seeing Barris turn back, Violet quickly turned away. As Barris passed by, Violet curiously glanced back at him. Barris walked over to the bed. Then he picked up a bottle containing some red liquid and poured it on the bed. Seeing this, Violet was terrified and collapsed to the ground. Is that blood? Violet was scared. What is this? Could it be a demon summoning? But this seems more like a scene from a horror story. Seeing Barris look back at her, was he targeting someone? Violet was extremely confused and scared. Could it be me? But suddenly a hand reached out. The floor is so cold. Violet was incredibly surprised by what she saw in front of her. It turned out Barris was sitting in front of her, reaching out his hand. Take my hand. Hearing that, Violet took Barris's hand and stood up. Thank you. Barris said to Violet, let me help you with your dress, all right? At this moment, Violet was recalling the feeling earlier. His hand was so big and thick, truly a masculine hand. Violet blushed, thinking he is like a big bear. Looking at Violet's outfit, Barris was extremely embarrassed. He looked at Violet's back, petite, fair-skinned, and with slender shoulders. He picked up the strap of the dress, feeling that they might break at any moment. Lost in thought, Barris accidentally pulled the strap hard. Violet, thinking Barris was calling her, turned around and asked, is something wrong? But suddenly, a knock on the door startled Barris, making him pull the strap again. From outside a voice called, it is me, Anna. Barris responded, come in. The person who entered was the head maid, Anna. I will assist the Duchess in getting ready, she said. Violet, seeing this, cheerfully said thank you. Barris, standing behind, let go of Violet's dress strap and watched her run towards Anna. Barris looks at his hand and then clenches it. My hand feels so empty. If I lock the door and keep her here, she won't leave my hand like that, right? Barris is standing to the side, watching Anna prepare for Violet. After a moment, Barris walks over to Anna. Prepare breakfast for the lady, Anna. Hearing this, Anna bows her head. Yes, I will do it right away. After seeing both of them, Violet stands there thinking. I still feel the smell of blood. I need some fresh air. After thinking, Violet walks towards the window and opens it wide. She stands and gazes at the view of the entire kingdom. Suddenly Violet sighs. Even though I had a safe night last night. She started thinking about the novel. In the original plot, Violet failed to host the party, which led to her imprisonment, while Barris announced his retirement to focus on external business and lived in the Duchess's room. There was no mercy in the eyes of the 20-year-old girl who appeared trembling with fear. The monster had become even more corrupt. Violet leaned her head against the window railing. Unlike the original, I have not been imprisoned yet, or to be blunt, there is no hope in this situation. Her hand started to tremble. I will lose my chance to escape forever if I do not leave today. But going to a cold kingdom without any preparation now. Violet was extremely confused about what to do. At this moment, Barris was standing in front of the door. "May I come in?" Barris stood silently for a moment. When he did not hear anything, Barris opened the door and walked in. He saw Violet sitting by the window looking outside. Barris wondered if she was not cold. "I heard she comes from a warm northern land." He slowly stepped toward Violet, or maybe she likes this kind of weather. Violet heard the footsteps and turned to look. By now, Barris was standing right beside her. Violet thought to herself when we first met. His large build was a bit intimidating, but his actions and gestures were exactly my style. Barris spoke. "I heard you have not eaten anything. Are you hungry?" Violet pondered over the question. As expected, that day he looked at me without a hint of pity. Violet imagined a lion standing in front of a little rabbit. Should she say yes if the rabbit asked for something? As Violet thought about it, she tried hard to hold back a laugh, thinking she could not laugh. But Violet could not help it and let out a laugh. Barris, seeing this, was startled, thinking, is she laughing? He wondered, maybe Violet likes being asked if she is hungry. At this point, everyone seemed curious about all of the Duke's actions. Anna appeared and said, "I am here to explain the Duke's actions to you." He never had the chance to meet a woman because he never left the battlefield throughout his youth. Even though he attended a few victory celebrations held by some nobles, he never spoke to anyone who approached him. If he made eye contact with anyone, they would surely leave and ignore him. Because of that fear, the number of times he interacted with women was 0. At this moment, Violet spoke to Barris. "On second thought, I want to go outside." After saying that, Violet was a bit startled. "I am going to leave this atmosphere to clear my head. They won't let me go out. I am not a prisoner, am I? At least give me a bit of freedom." But contrary to her thoughts, Barris extended his hand towards Violet, surprising her. Barris said, "If you want to go, you need to stand up first." After changing clothes, Violet was now leaving the room with Barris. Violet followed Barris, thinking, "What am I even wearing? It is so hard to move in this." Suddenly, she blushed, but he is considerate for paying attention to my outfit. While lost in thought, Barris suddenly turned around, startling Violet. Violet shut her mouth. "Am I walking too slowly? Does he want me to walk faster?" Barris moved towards Violet and then extended his hand. Seeing that action, Violet became confused. Is he asking me to take his arm? Why is not he saying anything? He just extended his elbow, or does he want to change my perception of him? I'm not sure. I should hurry up. At this moment, Barris remained silent, holding out his elbow towards Violet. He recalled what his aide had said, that when a woman appears uncomfortable, offering to escort her is considered basic politeness. The person advising Barris on how to behave was August. At this moment, Barris frowned, remembering what August had said, "Unless there is a specific rule against it at a party, always remember to do this." At this moment, countless conflicting thoughts raced through Barris's mind. Barris clenched his fist and thought, they might not get along, but Violet and I are married now, and unlike everyone else, she does not seem too afraid of me. Seeing that Violet was not making a move for a while, Barris turned around. What is going on here? Barris continued walking. She is just a woman brought here for reasons beyond his understanding. Should he imprison her starting tomorrow? He won't let her see the outside anymore. While Barris was deep in thought, Violet, walking behind him, suddenly tripped and fell forward, but luckily Barris caught her. Violet was surprised. She was touching Barris's thigh. So firm. Barris's expression at that moment was identical to Violet's. Her waist is so delicate and light, like the weight of a rabbit. With a terrifying look, Barris stared at Violet. "Before winter comes, I will feed her until she is fat, lay down rugs, add a fireplace, and I must seal the windows properly too. And surely she can't escape." The reason for such thoughts is that Barris lived and died without knowing love. He lived aimlessly his whole life. In the end, even until his death, he did not realize he was alone. In the main plot, Violet is crying, such a foolish person. Violet is imprisoned but still has feelings for her captor. You could say she loved Barris at some point. But what about Barris? Sadly for Barris, Violet was just a woman to bear children. Violet reads that information about the novel and sighs, "It is really a pity." In the present, Violet thinks, "But now I know why Violet in the original story opened up. When I fell, he suddenly ran over and caught me with those hands. At that moment I felt his strength, the feeling of him being behind me." Violet was blushing, deep in thought, while Barris was looking at her with a puzzled expression. Violet blushed. "I knew it would be difficult, but I did not expect it to be this intense." Did he put on cologne before coming? Probably not, right? In the original story, he is supposed to be a savage demon, but after meeting him he turned out to be sweet, mature, and totally my type. If that is true, if I keep feeling this way, I think I might fall in love with him. But it is definitely not because Barris is my type and I am weak for him, okay? Seeing Violet lost in thought, Barris extended his hand to her. If you want to walk easier, you should slow down and be more careful. Why are you trying to rush? Hearing this, Violet blushed and took his hand. She grabbed Barris's hand and thanked him. The two of them had already stepped outside the palace. Violet looked around. This was truly a wonderful and magical place. Barris just stood silently, observing Violet. He thought the scenery was not impressive yet because it was still far from warming up. What did she like about the barren fields and bare branches? Her face was full of delight. Her smile was as if. At that thought, Barris suddenly paused. It is true you should not look at ghosts, but still he did not expect her to be like that again. Violet was just marveling at things from the novel. It is true that the real stuff is different, not staged. Flashback to when Violet was still in the circus. She once imagined herself being in Hollywood. And now there is a scene even better than that. Violet looked at the tall wall. But I can't go back to Enoch anymore. I will have to live imprisoned like a hero. What is so special about this scene? Violet's face fell. If I could escape, I wish I could at least win someone's heart. Just a moment ago, she was happy with this old ugly castle and the garden for the kids. Barris noticed Violet's expression. He clenched his fists. Why, just a moment ago she was so unexpectedly happy. Why the sad face now? Why, just a moment ago, she was happy with this old ugly castle and the garden for the kids. Thinking this, he walked over to Violet. Barris tightly grabbed Violet's arm and pulled her back. Do you really think your husband is a monster? Violet looked at Barris with a confused expression. Barris's tone was a bit uneasy. We need to go. After saying that, Barris turned and walked away. Damn it, this is the woman I brought back, but why is not she freaking out? As he was fuming, suddenly Violet's voice came from behind. Excuse me. Barris turned back to see Violet's embarrassed look. Can I hold your hand? Barris was surprised to hear that. It seems like you are feeling really happy inside. Let us see, maybe she has been in the cold for too long and has softened, but her endurance has its limits too. Maybe she is reaching her limit. In Barris's vivid imagination, Violet is falling into his arms. Then Barris lifts Violet up. With sparkling eyes, Barris says, if you are going through a tough time, I will carry you. Thank you, Barris. But that was just in his thoughts. In reality, Barris's face is a little red. He extends his hand, thinking if that moment comes, I have to hold her especially tight. After a while of struggling, they finally make it back to the room. Though she acted like she could collapse at any moment, she walked just fine. As soon as Violet returns to the room, she happily says, it is so warm. She walks over to the fireplace. I think Anna has lit the fire. After saying that, Violet suddenly falls silent and slowly takes off her coat. Seeing that, Barris wonders, why is not she saying anything anymore? He just stood silently on the side, observing Violet's actions. What should I say to break this atmosphere? But before Barris could say anything, Violet, after taking off her coat, spoke up. This place is really peaceful. Seeing this, Barris wondered to himself, peaceful. Noticing Barris's expression, Violet said, I really like today. The scenery is truly beautiful. Sometimes we should go out together like this. Barris did not reply, just silently thought, how can she talk so casually about taking a walk? Isn't she afraid of me? Wait, I definitely planned to lock her in the room as soon as I brought her here. But what is happening now? Seeing Barris still silent, Violet continued to ask, excuse me, are you all right, sir? But Barris was still lost in his thoughts. Yes, it is all because of those eyes. When I look into those eyes, I get drawn into this woman. No, do not forget the original purpose. You reassure yourself, do not forget the original purpose, so today. But before you can continue thinking, Barris smiles and asks, Barris, are you okay? Seeing Violet's expression, he immediately forget that thought. She looks quite tired. It would be better to leave this for tomorrow. He cover her with a blanket. No, first, just sleep, yes. It is already morning and Violet is still lying still in bed, so warm. Anna is tending to the fireplace when she notices Violet has woken up. Anna bows her head. You have woken up, Duchess. Violet is startled by this. You do not need to be so formal with me. But Violet suddenly realizes, it is a bit strange to be treated like this by someone older than herself. Anna replies, everyone will greet and treat you like this, madam. Violet heard that and was silent for a moment. She seemed to be thinking about something. After a short time, Violet spoke up. I do not know if you have noticed, but I grew up as a commoner and do not have any noble traits. I really do not know what to do at times like these. So I hope you can help me. Anna thought about that just as I thought. She does not seem to understand much, but her voice is not that bad. In this respect, it might make sense soon. She pushed the food cart over. Have your meal first. After breakfast, Violet changed into a different dress and lay on the bed thinking, it is so warm and cozy, what should I do now? Violet suddenly thought of something. She quickly sat up. Come to think of it, no one said I could not leave the haunted room. In the original story, Violet was a prisoner, but I am not yet. She immediately went to the closet to find a cloak. I need to go outside, get some fresh air, and enjoy some warm sunshine, she thought as she put on the cloak and quickly stepped out of the room. People might start gossiping that I am depressed if I stay cooped up in here like this. But just as she reached the door, Violet was startled to see Anna standing there. Anna spoke up. It is Anna. Where are you planning to go? Seeing Anna's intimidating expression, Violet felt a bit nervous. I just wanted to go outside for a bit. Staying in here all the time feels like being imprisoned, she thought. Has she been waiting behind the door this whole time? While she was lost in thought, Violet noticed what Anna was holding behind her. It is lunch. Anna continued to ask, would you like to have lunch? Violet replied, it seems a bit stuffy to stay inside. Anna pondered, could the Duchess want to go outside? I can provide everything from a meal to an even better outdoor experience. She then told Violet, there is a table in the hallway. Eating there will make it feel like you are on a camping trip. Violet happily responded, really? Violet asked, can we go now? Seeing Violet smile, Anna suddenly felt something strange. I will go prepare right away. After a while, Anna had prepared a table full of food for Violet. Violet, seeing a table full of delicious food in front of her, immediately became happy. Thank you, Miss Anna. Looking at the table for a moment, Violet thought, but what should I use from outside there? If I make a mistake, Anna will notice right away. Anna stood behind, thinking, I am here to supervise and teach the lady as the Duke instructed. She remembered what Barris said to her and August, I will bring a woman here. She only needs to bear an heir. Anna thought there is no point in teaching her when she lives in the mansion just for the sake of the heir. When Anna checked Violet's bedspread, but looking back at yesterday and today, there was nothing to worry about. The blood on the blanket was animal blood. Violet was a bit confused, wondering if he could tell the difference between human blood and animal blood. He thought the animal blood should be shown to the other servants to prevent rumors from spreading that the two had not spent their first night together. Was he really being that meticulous? Is that really the Supreme Duke? Anna stood lost in thought, wondering if he had gone mad. Despite that, it seems the lady had a good impression of the Duke's actions. Perhaps it was simply because they represent hope for the North, but what could stop his fury? As she was thinking, she heard a call. Anna, yes, I am here. Violet asked, since I have been away, is there anything I do not know? Anna was startled when she heard that. He left the territory, did not he just want to take a walk? Violet answered, I will follow. Violet thought, am I not free? In the office, Barris was deep in thought, feeling a headache. He held his head with dark circles under his eyes, feeling like his head was freezing. I need a reason to lock her up. Of course I have tried to confine her without a reason, but it is a bit. Does it seem like I am treating her as an object? I brought her here for a legitimate reason. I know I am being a bit hypocritical, but I need a reason. Thinking of Violet's smile, I do not want to treat her like that. Barris stands up and heads towards the window. What is going on? Looking out the window, it seems Barris notices something. Turns out Violet and Anna are down there. What are they doing? Seeing the direction they are heading, Barris is startled. Wait a minute. Following their backs, they are heading out behind the castle. Barris suddenly thinks, why is she trying to escape? As long as Anna is with her, Violet can't do that. But what if she distracts Anna in a crowded place? After thinking, Barris quickly rushed towards the door. Have to follow them. Violet is happily admiring the surroundings. The scenery here is so beautiful. I do not know much about the history of this place, but it seems so crowded and lively. She sat down beside a small fountain. I feel like I am on an adventure. I have never been to a place like this in Enoch. Violet thought, looking back, I do not think the original plot could help. Unlike the plot, Barris is somewhat kind. She remembered yesterday when Violet reached out to her. Take my hand. Recalling the scene where the two romantically held hands. Violet's face blushed deeply. She hugged her tomato-red cheeks, thinking, who would know, I have never been in a relationship before. At this moment Barris and I. Could it be that the two of us are in a relationship? But suddenly, she remembered Barris's gaze. Violet paused. Her face turned a bit somber. Wait, stop dreaming about those ridiculous things. I can't freely go about without supervision, and his perspective won't change. I still want to have a good relationship with Barris. He's always been like a brother to me. She looked over at Anna and gestured beside her. Why are you just standing there? Come sit with me. Anna responded, oh yes, thank you. Seeing Anna's expression, Violet was a bit confused. So it turns out Anna is worried about Barris. She noticed Barris standing at the end of an alley. A few minutes ago, Barris was rushing to find Violet. Where could she be? She would not leave the mansion, would she? August was holding a stack of documents when he bumped into Barris. Your Grace, why are you in such a hurry? Barris ignored him, thinking, why does it feel like she is trying to run away from me? Barris burst through the door and rushed outside. I do not want to lock her up and throw her on the bed. By the time Barris arrived, Anna and Violet were already at the mansion's gate. Violet looked incredibly cheerful as she admired the scenery. What beautiful weather. Barris, in his hurry, saw Violet's expression and stood silently. The cold-blooded image of Anna on the battlefield flashed in his mind, with countless bodies lying at her feet. Father, Violet is just an ordinary person. No one can escape Anna's gaze. The highest-ranked knight of the Empire. Barris is confused. Why am I rushing like this? Anna noticed Barris behind her. When Barris realized, he signaled her to continue without paying attention to him. From this distance I can see everything happening, so it should be fine. Seeing Barris like that, Anna felt at ease. After getting Barris's permission, the two of them strolled around the capital together. Barris stayed hidden behind a wall, keeping watch. If she tries to run, I will quickly follow and catch her. I need a valid reason, so this is a good opportunity. Or maybe I could find some mistake. But Violet and Anna sat by that fountain from dawn till dusk. Barris was puzzled. What is going on? How can they sit like that without getting tired? He has been watching the two of them since early morning until now. Barris continued to think, if they are just sitting outside like that, why even bother going out? Could it be that she is trying to assess the chances of escaping? Should I go back? Thinking about August doing all the work, I accidentally made August handle everything today. Barris stepped out of the alley while thinking. A commoner recognized him and immediately bowed. Hello, Duke. Barris noticed the man gripping his hat tightly, trembling. Seeing this, Barris silently turned away. I can see what you are thinking. Barris walked on, his mind in turmoil. The murderer, said to be worse than a demon, is her husband. Even if she feels safe, she would still be scared if she saw him behind her. He took a step toward Violet. No matter what, the important thing now is not to lose Violet. From behind, Barris saw Violet smile. Seeing that, the one deemed a cold-blooded demon also smiled. Violet got home and took a shower. How nice, I went for a little walk and then took a shower. A dinner now would be perfect. While drying her hair, there was a knock at the door. Violet called out, come in. Thinking it was Anna who entered, Violet said, I want a robe. But when she saw Barris walking in, Violet was startled. She immediately blushed and covered herself, suddenly shouting. Barris was also surprised and fell silent when he saw Violet like that. Then, out of shock, Violet slammed the door shut. Seeing this, Barris lowered his head, looking dejected in front of the door. Now was the time to bathe, eat, and rest, was not it? The atmosphere around him suddenly became gloomy. She does not like me already, and now she probably hates me even more. How embarrassing. Anna approached from behind and asked, Your Grace. Anna brought the food cart closer. What happened? Inside the room, Violet sat down on the floor, feeling like she was going crazy. I thought it was Anna at first. Violet imagines Barris locking her in a metal cage. Not her, but she tries to prevent that from happening. What if he does it anyway? When Barris enters again, he finds Violet kneeling on the ground, begging, please give me another chance. Barris steps in without Violet noticing and asks, please what? Before Violet can respond, Barris quickly puts a cloak around her. Wear this, you will get cold. Violet holds the cloak, looking confused. Violet blushes. Thank you, you are so kind to me. Hearing this, Barris is stunned, as if struck by lightning. Ain't me kind. He quickly corrects his expression. It is probably because I do the things she likes that she says that. Barris says, alright, it is not that hard. Feeling a bit shy, Barris turned his face away. I will step outside. Let me know when you are done changing and we can have dinner together. Violet blushed in surprise. Together. A little later, the two of them were sitting in front of a lavish meal. Is this the first time we have eaten together? I do not remember this in the original storyline. Violet thought about the plot as she ate. Could it be that he is waiting for me to make a mistake? Unlike Violet, Barris, sitting across from her, looked intimidating. It seemed like he did not dislike her. He just was not expressive. Violet noticed Barris remained silent and was not eating, so she smiled curiously. Seeing Violet smile, Barris blushed and his heart raced. Barris gripped his fork tightly. What is with this woman? No one does that. How can she touch people so casually? Is she trying to push me away? Barris reaches out to take a gift. Or am I the only one feeling strange? After a break, he hands the gift box to Violet. Violet goes to receive the gift. What is this? Can I open it? Barris replies, go ahead, open it. As soon as Violet opens it, a dazzling light shines out from the gift. Inside the box is a stunning necklace and a pair of earrings. Violet looks at Barris with sparkling eyes. Can I really keep it? Barris answers, of course. Violet blushes and covers her mouth. Barris probably did not think much when he gave this to me. This is the first gift I have received from a man. Violet continues to daydream. I do not know about the surroundings, but Barris is treating me very well. She smiled confidently. Many things had changed from the original story. Could I also build a good relationship with him? Violet thought and then looked at Barris. I find it very beautiful, thank you so much. Barris, seeing Violet happy with the gift he gave, thought, luckily I have no ulterior motives, there are more important things to consider. I told the gold and jewelry shop about the money to make the jewelry. If someone tries to sell it, they will recognize the 1,000 gold coins I mentioned. If they come here directly, they will get even more rewards. And then catch Violet trying to escape. When Violet has fled, things will be much easier. Just think of her as a target without hesitation. I will make her return. Both sides have opposing thoughts, and she will shed tears in the days to come, while Violet remains happy with the first gift from him. The next day, Violet and Anna continued their walk. Barris stood by the window, watching them. He smiled slyly, haha, just as expected. All of Madame's debts could be paid off. I already instructed Anna, so now I just have to wait. But then Barris thought of something. Wait a minute. He quickly grabbed a cloak and left. August, seeing him in such a hurry, was a bit puzzled. August thought for a moment about Barris's past. At just 9 years old, he became an orphan due to the war and stayed in the combat zone. After 2 years, his body was like a mess. He returned after strangling his enemy. After recovering, he went back to the battlefield at the age of 13. Up until now, I have never seen him lose his temper. August sighed, but now he has. He watched Barris following Violet. I am really glad that spring has finally come to him, congratulations. Violet and Anna are standing in front of a fruit shop. Violet is happily smiling, chatting with the vendor. Barris stands to the side, thinking, what is this woman up to? All she bought were 2 apples, asked for roasted chicken, and a coin purse. For some reason, Barris is angry. He grips the wall so hard that it cracks. All she bought won't help her escape. Although Barris was wearing a cloak, it seemed like everyone around still recognized that he was a duke. Be quiet now. Barris's face was still full of anger. I can't hear them. When will you show your true face? Looking at Anna standing at a handbag shop. Is it now? Barris thought as he saw Violet deep in thought. But in reality, she was just choosing which handbag suited her. Barris thought, is not that right? What could she do with that tiny bag? Seeing the two of them moving to another store, Barris thought, she should buy something practical, something that could help her carry a lot of heavy stuff on her shoulders. When Anna went to a shoe store, could it be now? Right, she needs to buy a pair of shoes to run in, a pair that is light and convenient. After standing in front of the shoe store for a while, Violet decided not to buy anything and continued on. As for Barris, it seemed like his anger had exploded. Is she crazy? What on earth did she go out to buy? If she has not done it yet, she would definitely run away if she knew my past. Watching Violet share a skewer of grilled meat with Anna, why? Seeing Violet smile, Barris kept thinking, why can someone smile so brightly? I definitely won't take my eyes off her for even a few minutes. I do not know why she is smiling like that. Violet, meanwhile, continued to chat happily with Anna. What makes her laugh, I really can't understand. Violet was eating happily, exclaiming how delicious the chicken was. Violet's eyes sparkled. I still have so much money left over from what I bought. This is great. While thinking, a gust of wind suddenly passed by. Violet shivered. Oh, it is so cold. At that moment, she thought about Barris giving her his coat. Yesterday felt so warm. When holding his hand, it was the first time I felt that my weight was not an issue. Violet silently thought about Barris. Thinking back, it still makes me so happy. In this world, Barris's loneliness was predestined. But I too am lonely. With only Doomy left, I can only protect myself. Is this the reason why the two of us became a pair? Sometimes I feel that we could have a good relationship. No, I want to have one. Before I could finish my thoughts, the scene shifted back to Barris's mansion. Barris walked while thinking. It would be difficult if she wanted to go out again, but the way I acted yesterday. Suddenly, Barris's face became hidden. Something like yesterday happened again, though I do not dislike it. Barris looked at the box in his hand. It seemed to be a gift for Violet. While thinking, Barris suddenly noticed Violet sneaking behind the door. Seeing this, Barris quickly hid behind a large pillar. Could she be preparing to escape? Barris immediately hid behind the statues and pursued Violet. After a short distance, Violet suddenly stopped, seemingly deep in thought. Barris watched from behind, thinking, could she be trying to impress someone, or maybe enter a specific room? When Violet approached a door, Barris thought to himself, damn, this is my room. At this point, Barris became confused and looked around. But suddenly, what caught his eye was Violet's door. Barris stood frozen for a moment. Then he ran toward the balcony. No matter what, she must not enter without my permission. Barris immediately jumped from the living room balcony to his own. He hurried inside, taking off his cloak as he went. Barris stood in front of the door, adjusting his attire a bit. Then he forcefully swung the door open, startling Violet greatly. Barris leaned against the door with one hand. Come in, try not to lose your breath. Violet heard that and was a bit confused. Going into the room, Violet sat in front of the fireplace. She turned to look at Barris, who was standing by the opposite pillar, noticing that Barris seemed to be keeping a distance from her. Violet then patted the spot beside her, signaling Barris to sit down with her. Barris hesitated for a moment. But eventually, he came over and sat next to Violet. Seeing Barris like that, Violet smiled, thinking he looked like a bear, haha. She looked at Barris and thought, I am sure my heart has changed, he is just too cute. Violet took an apple out of her bag. I bought it because they look so good today, let us share. As she spoke, Violet handed one apple to Barris and kept one for herself. Violet did not think much and happily took a big bite. Barris just watched Violet eat. Seeing Violet looking at him, Barris also took a big bite. Seeing Barris do that, Violet burst out laughing. Barris wondered, why is she laughing? Does my face look strange when I eat an apple? Violet laughed and said to Barris, I am sorry for laughing, I did not mean to, but... Violet placed the apple she just bit next to Barris's apple. I did not expect you could eat so much in just one bite. The difference between our bites is huge. Barris blushed a little because everything about her is so small, from her bite to her weight, her face and even her hands. Barris's face kept getting redder. What else was there? Suddenly, Barris placed the apple on the seat and stood up. It seemed like he was too embarrassed, so he left. I have a gift prepared for you. Barris brought a gift box to Violet. When she opened it, there was a pair of shoes inside. Violet was delighted. Can I try them on right away? Hearing Violet say that, Barris was silent for a moment. It seemed like Violet did not notice her outfit. Her dress was thick and heavy, making it difficult to lift the hem and try on the shoes. Knowing that Violet did not notice, Barris quickly stepped in. Let me do it for you. After a while, Barris finally succeeded in putting the shoes on Violet's feet. Barris blushed, she is really petite. On the other hand, Violet was attentively watching Barris. He is really big. After putting on the shoes, Barris looked up at her. Violet smiled happily, thank you, I really like them. Barris then asked tenderly, do they fit you? Barris thought, what is going on with this woman? Why is she just smiling while doing nothing? Violet blushed, but she tried to hold back her emotions. Calm down, me. He imagined Violet walking in a field, and she already had comfortable shoes, so she would escape, right? Barris stood silently in the snowstorm while Violet ran away, but running in the cold northern weather, she still had not adapted. Does that mean she hates me more than dying? Barris stood watching Violet holding an apple. She smiled like that but would run away anyway, right? Violet cheerfully turned to Barris and said, let us go together. Barris, who had a scary look earlier, now shyly replied, all right. He sat down next to Violet, but unlike before, this time he sat closer. Barris looked at Violet. What is this? What does she want from me? Why do you keep looking at me and smiling like that? Looking at Violet's smile, countless questions arose in Barris's mind. Could it be that she wants to stay here tonight? After thinking, Barris turned to Violet and asked, "Isn't it time for you to go?" After Violet left, Barris stood looking out the window. "Barris, what is wrong with you?" He looked at the light of the moon shining down. "If I treat her like this, she will run away. But if she does..." Barris closed the window. "Seems like I won't be able to control myself." Just as he was about to change clothes, Barris suddenly noticed something on the chair. "She is gone, these things are." Barris picked it up, and it turned out to be Violet's robe. "I do not know what I want from this woman anymore." After getting back to her room, Violet could not think straight and leaned against the door. Her head was spinning. "This is the Duke of Demons, right?" She started pacing around. Violet's intuition was definitely correct. Barris had to be like the original story. But why is that? It has been 3 nights and the main plot still has not started. It was good at first. It seemed like they were considering delaying the confinement. But after just 1 or 2 days I started feeling anxious again. Violet was sweating profusely. Something really does not feel right, like something is off. Violet imagines the two of them together, but Violet's personality is not clearly described in the original story, though this is a book. Is it possible that Violet in the original story is unclear? Just like the female character and hero with feelings, so what he does not touch her heart. Violet collapses on the ground, completely defeated. I can't be like the original or Ling. She recalls the time they sat next to each other, thinking today might end up with the same atmosphere. They were so close, about to kiss. When Barris said it is time to go, his body froze. Violet sobbed while sitting on the floor. I really wanted to do those things well. She remembers Barris. Does he really not feel anything? I really want to hug, kiss, or even just hold hands. Violet covers her face with her hands. She can't understand it. As she is crying, she suddenly notices the shoes that Barris gave her. Violet looks at them, thinking I quite like the gift, but in Enoch they say that if you are given shoes by someone you love, it means they want to kick you out of their life. Her tear-filled eyes look at the shoes. Could this gift mean the same? I think he feels uncomfortable around me. So that is why he wants to send me away, right? The next morning there is a loud call. It is August calling for Barris. "Your Grace, we found a young man yesterday." But as soon as he steps in, the first thing he sees is Barris's displeased face sitting on the chair. Did something happen to him today? Seeing the Duke's expression, August sighed and said, "He comes from a village called Devoid in the southwest." Barris was startled upon hearing this and said, "He came here to find his fiancée, Violet, who has gone missing. They have not made their engagement public, but he is certain that the two had a promise." August thought to himself as he spoke, "I thought spring had finally come for the Duke, but..." Barris spoke up. "August, has the ground thawed these past few days?" Hearing this, August was puzzled. Is he planning to bury her? August replied, "Yes, it seems spring arrived about a month ago." Barris said, "I have been thinking. If she is beautiful in my eyes, it means she is also beautiful in the eyes of other men, so it is my fault for finding her a bit late. Beauty can be a crime." Barris stands up from his chair. "So where is he?" "He is being held in prison." Barris smiles. "He must have a great love to come this far. Let us see what his face looks like." A while ago, someone was hanging clothes. From behind, a person leads a horse forward. The man turns and says, "Have you heard the news? Lady Violet is married." The red-haired man leading the horse is startled. "What did you say? Who did she marry?" The other person thinks for a moment. "I think it was some very wealthy duke from far up north." He, while hanging clothes, continues, "To be honest, she does not really seem like someone who belongs in this countryside. A beautiful face is an advantage, after all." The other man replies, "That is true, but..." Living in luxury, wearing expensive clothes, admiring beautiful flowers, and enjoying tea. That is what suits her today. But is that enough for her? Is she truly happy? I do not know anything about power and money, being just a commoner." The red-haired guy angrily shouted, "Hey, be more specific. I do not know much about this either. I want to meet her again. You do not know the exact place, but I can't forget her face. I will definitely find her soon." "Definitely. But when you got there, you were stopped by a group of people. You have to come with us. You were beaten by those guys and then thrown into prison." You stood up angrily and shouted, "Who are you? What do you want?" Barris just silently looked at him for a moment. "You spoke up. Get started right away." Upon hearing the command, everyone advanced and held him down. "Well, please do not do this." They grabbed a bottle of some solution. intending to pour it into the young man's mouth. Me go. Barris just silently watched him collapse to the ground. Barris spoke, the village in the southwest, you and a woman named Violet. Are the two of you lovers? The other's face was weary, as if lifeless. All he could think of was the image of Violet. Beautiful Violet. I want to live for her. I have worked so hard to prepare for our future children. He began to speak, Violet and I are lovers forever. We promised each other. Beside him, Barris was extremely angry. Barris walks hurriedly. August follows behind thinking, I thought spring was coming for the Duke, but it turns out it is still winter. The drug that red-haired man took is called Ablon, a substance that can control people and force them to only speak the truth, unless they have a mind of steel strong enough to resist it. Everything they say will be 100% true. August hurriedly follows Barris. Even if they are prisoners of the enemy, salvation is not here. What I need to do now is to prevent the two from meeting. August clenches his fist, I can do it or caw. As he is thinking, there is a call. August, yes sir, cancel the guard on the arm. Barris continues, and give him a chance to escape. Let him escape through the rooftop of the inner courtyard. At this moment, Violet is strolling in the garden with Anna. Violet looks at the scenery around, oh butterflies, it is like they are trying to climb over the fence. Violet turns to Anna and says, I know, interesting and somewhat like me. I have always been tossed around by different environments since birth. Growing up too soon, always having to survive in new surroundings. Violet thinks, do not give up, butterflies, you can do it, we can all find happiness. While thinking, she notices someone, it turns out to be Barris. Seeing Violet looking at him, Barris stiffens. Feels like she just looked at me, must be my imagination. Such an interesting woman, time flies just looking at the back of her head. In fact, Barris has been watching her for 2 hours. Everyone thinks that when they see her. If only she had not been sold to someone who does not even resemble a father figure. She should have spent time with the last person she liked. If she had grown up in a noble family, she would have been married and had children by now. What kind of face would she make when meeting a hypocrite? At this moment, Barris looks like he is surrounded by fire. Your face is filled with anger, just thinking about it makes me irritated, I feel like cutting down all those trash. You see Violet walking toward you, what if I kill him right in front of her? What if I help her never have to see such things again, if something could change? Violet approaches with a radiant smile, Barris. The energy emanating from the two of them is like opposites. She must have completely forgotten by now. So I will break his pelvis and grind his meat to feed the beasts. Violet lifted her dress to reveal the shoes. Why do you keep looking at me like that? Barris's eyes were full of anger. But when he saw Violet like that, it vanished and his face turned red. Violet said, these are the shoes you bought for me. Barris thought, honestly, even though I do not know much about fashion, this dress and these shoes do not suit her at all. Are you comfortable? Violet smiled, yes, they are very comfortable to move in and they are beautiful too. Barris continued to overthink everything, just being comfortable to move in is not enough. If she runs at full speed, these won't be suitable for escaping from here. But suddenly Violet continued, I have a little request, could you take a walk with me today? Was thinking that Violet would report an escape, but hearing that, Barris was surprised. Barris replied, where do you want to go? Violet thought for a moment and said, anywhere, I think it would be better to wander around somewhere. As long as we go together, it is fine. She said, where we go does not matter, I just think it would be more fun to go somewhere together. Violet smiled and looked at Barris, so let us take a walk together. Barris was a bit puzzled by Violet's suggestion. After a moment of silence, Barris spoke, starting today, we will close the mansion gates. Violet was startled upon hearing that. She was a bit confused, I did but... Before she could continue, Barris interrupted. You are only allowed to go to the city under my jurisdiction. Hearing this, Violet clasped her hands together, her eyes sparkling as she looked at Barris. Barris continued, I am only closing the doors for a while because I have something to take care of, at most a week. How about we go horseback riding together afterward? Violet regained her brightness, that sounds wonderful, I am really looking forward to that day. She thought to herself, I was beginning to think the confinement had already started. Barris smiled cunningly, maybe today, Violet will have to rely on me for the rest of her life. That is fine, I never intended to share Violet with anyone anyway. Looking at Violet's smile, even if she feels disappointed or even depressed because of me, her little heart won't be allowed to beat for anyone else. Especially for those bastards still alive, after seeing him die right before their eyes. With a scary face, Barris returned to a shy look, at least I should create an atmosphere. I have seen them before, shining like stars, I think I should go to the Isabio forest behind the mountain. Because that place is famous for its beautiful and shining sky. I bet she will like them. While thinking, both Violet and Barris suddenly looked in one direction. It turned out that the red-haired young man had escaped from prison and came to their place. Violet saw him and wondered, what is this, flying up from the ground? Only I, Barris, Anna, and August can enter this room. Could it be the new servant? But then she did not care anymore. Never mind, I should not be curious about those things. She turned to Barris. But I do not know how to ride a horse, Barris said. What, you do not know how to ride a horse? Violet wondered, what is so strange about not knowing how to ride a horse? She suddenly thought, do all women in the world have to know how to ride a horse? What kind of ridiculous question is that? I have never even seen a horse run. The red-haired young man approached Violet and knelt down in front of her. He said loudly, I have worked very hard and tried everything to meet you, and you did not even bother to look at me. Violet saw him and thought, wait a minute, is not he a servant? Her mind was filled with questions. Did this happen in the original story? I do not remember reading this. Could this be due to the second cause or something? I do not know, but it is better not to get involved with him, she thought, and then hid behind Barris. The other person was very surprised to see this. He could not understand what Violet was doing. You held my hand tightly, but now you are a married woman. You won't run back and hug me anymore. Say something. He was extremely angry, thinking, has everything changed just because of the distance between us? Could it really be like that? He shouted loudly towards the two of them, hey Violet. Violet, confused, tightly held Barris's hand. Who is that? Barris replied, I heard he was the one who got engaged to you in his homeland. Violet's face was full of confusion. What, he promised me. When Barris heard those words from Violet's mouth, he could finally smile. I wonder if she would stab me in the back for her lover when she suddenly walked behind me, but I do not really care about that. She hid behind me to reject him, which means she chose me. Barris is all over the place, and it seems she is not impressed with this man at all. Seeing Violet like this, Barris immediately called his guards to take him away. As he was being dragged away, he still shouted, is this the kind of person you are, Violet? I can't believe you chose to become like this. After he left, Violet collapsed on the ground, sensing that something was wrong. Honestly, if Barris knew about my past, if he locked me in a room with that man and questioned me about it, I would be doomed. Violet anxiously looked towards Barris. Closing the mansion's doors means he wants to test me. Tears welled up in Violet's eyes, if that is really the case. She cried, sitting on the ground. Barris was a bit surprised to see that. Barris sat down and said, wait, what is wrong with you? Violet replied, what is all this for? Barris looked into Violet's tear-filled eyes. A mistake. What did I do wrong? Could it be her? But what Violet said caught Barris off guard. You want to give me to him? Barris said, I never thought about that. Violet said, you are lying. Violet said, you are lying. Barris clenched his hand tightly. Yes, it was a lie. I planned to kill him right in front of you after this meeting. Seeing Violet like that, Barris was a bit confused. Actually, he asked me if he could meet you even just once. Barris continued, but I hesitated when I saw your expression. Her eyes looked at him with a mix of sadness and anger. Without letting Barris say anything more, Violet shouted, you would let them see you if they asked about it. Wouldn't it be easier to just ignore that news and throw them out the gate? Barris did not know how to explain. He said he was your lover, so. Violet interrupted, do you really believe that and let him meet me right here in the mansion, someone whose identity we do not even know? Barris did not know how to respond. I really did not want to tell her. Barris said, but I gave him a dose of mystery liquid. Violet surprised, what? Barris continued, it is something that once taken you can't lie, and his story was very convincing. Upon hearing this, Violet lowered her head. There is definitely something going on here. Violet clenched her dress. If he really is the one Violet loves, then he is no different from me. She cried even more, so that means he does not care whether I meet my lover again or not. Seeing Violet like that, Barris thought, why does she keep crying? She will end up hurting herself. I'm starting to get a bit worried. At this moment, Barris kept drinking, slamming the glass hard on the table. August leaned in and said, sir, you have been drinking quite a bit, have not you? Barris snapped back, shut up. Scattered around him were countless glasses and bottles. August watched Barris continuously drink. Oh dear, blinded by love. That fool does not even know he is in love. On the first day, Barris was worried because he heard the princess crying in the guest room all day. On the second day, August thought, what kind of man lets his wife meet her ex-boyfriend? On the third day, Barris kept pacing around the room. At least sit down and have a drink, do not just keep pacing. August sighed. Why is he so negative? All he needs to do is show a positive side. August whispered into Barris's ear. The Duke has not done anything good for Violet. Barris blushed, about to ask something so. But before Barris could speak, August continued. What if you bring her some soup in her room? Barris thought. I really did not think of that. That was his thought, but when he spoke to August, it was different. You think I am a servant or something? After scolding August, he still ended up bringing a bowl of soup to Violet's room. From outside, he could still hear her crying. They said she had not eaten anything, but why was she crying day after day? After meeting her ex-boyfriend, it was strange that she cried because of that. He would rather endure insults directed at him than at that jerk, and her crying just because of him. Barris knocked on the door. I wish she was crying because she was disappointed in me, Barris thought as he entered and brought the bowl of soup to Violet. Eat something. When Violet saw Barris, she quickly pulled the blanket over her face. Why are you here? Barris put the soup bowl on the table. She did not go out. Violet tried to avoid him, so what? The mansion is closed anyway. Seeing Violet like that, Barris could only remain silent. Even if she is not afraid of me, it feels like she is holding something back. But now she can say whatever she wants without hesitation. Thinking that, Barris burst out laughing. Seeing Barris like that, Violet got angry. What the heck? She thought, if you want to say something, just say it. Why is he acting like that? If you keep doing this, why did you grant me that favor? And why did you give me shoes? Not to mention you told me to hold your hand too. Violet screamed in her head. Not to mention you hugged me when I needed it. You are bad luck. Do you think I am so stupid that I do not know anything? Outside, Violet's face was full of killing intent as she looked at Barris. Seeing that, Barris coughed to get Violet's attention and then said, I will reopen the mansion gates, so promise me both of you will ride horses together. Hearing that, Violet asked when. Suddenly, the two of them fell into a moment of silence. Barris said, right now. Violet was suddenly surprised, her eyes filled with confusion. Barris was able to walk out of the room and move around. She was walking down a hallway. What? She thought, no, is this real? After I cried like that, he did not even ask if I was okay. I did not expect anything, but it is hard when he did not even wipe my tears. Violet followed Barris, fuming with anger. You really do not care at all. Barris, who was choosing heads, turned to glance at Violet. Violet is furious, but to Barris she looks like she is glowing. Barris smiles. She can't even hide her feelings. The outfit really suits her. August approaches and sees both of them turned away from each other in silence. He holds his face. Oh my. Barris stands in deep thought. Camelin Town, a small town, has no roads for trucks. Violet said she did not know how to ride a horse, but she might be lying. Besides, in this small town, what could possibly happen? Anyone who comes here will either go hunting with a bow or ride a horse. I just need to have a good child. They do not even need to care about each other's past. I think this is an idea, to take her without knowing her past. If she knew, then August would never have brought Violet here. Barris thought to himself as he led the horse. Thank God. He led 2 horses to Violet's place, taking the white horse. Violet thought, it is carrying so much luggage, will it be okay? She said, I think it might be too heavy for the horse if I ride it. Barris laughed out loud when he heard that. He told Violet, it can carry 5 people like you, do not worry. From Barris's perspective, Violet looked like a small rabbit. What was this woman, brighter than a sugar cookie, talking about? Violet kept thinking, this is a big problem, the horse is bigger than I thought. The white horse in Violet's eyes is terrifying. I am not sure I can ride it. What if I fall and die? She grabbed Barris's sleeve. Although she was a bit upset with him, it was hard to admit, but she said, I do not think this is real. Violet told Barris, I do not know how to ride a horse. Barris smiled and joked, but before he could say anything, Violet quickly added, I am not joking. Violet's face was full of worry. I really do not know how. Oh God, I did not mean to joke with you at all. Seeing that it seemed to be true, Barris said, then how about learning to ride and we can go together another day? Or you could ride with me, he added. Violet was startled. Violet's mind was spinning. Oh my God, riding together, wow, what a fantastic idea. Giving me the green light like this. But why are not you paying attention to the crucial moment? Violet blushed as she held on tightly in front of her. Is this the push and pull I have heard about, but being pulled in this close is too much? Violet said, well then, I will get everything ready. But what should I prepare, what should I do? After leading the horse outside, Violet slowly climbed onto the black horse. After a moment of struggle, with Barris's help, Violet was finally able to get on the horse. Barris said, "Make sure to hold the reins tight and put your feet in the stirrups." "Got it." Violet looked straight ahead, her face reddening, as Barris quickly climbed up behind her. Barris reached around Violet and took hold of the reins. "We are moving now." Violet seems to be still very shy. Just now she was thinking so warm and safe. Because Barris is the strongest leader in the country, or because I am the wife of the leader. Just now I was so angry, but now I do not think it is much of a problem. Barris is just like her, he is also very confused. Oh no, I did not think about this situation. Sitting behind Violet, too close, what should I do now? Barris's face turns red, she smells so good, why is she so cute from behind, this little cutie? After all, the main issue is, both Violet and I are wearing pants specifically for riding. How could there be anything between these thin layers of fabric? Barris's face is getting redder. The front and back are so close together. Pay attention to the location. August is loading the carriage when Anna approaches. "Why do you want to use the carriage today?" August explains. "The Duke told me to prepare the carriage for the trip to Isabeau." Anna continues, "Tonight?" Anna's face suddenly turns scary. "There is really no plan to leave tonight, right?" August is startled. "What?" Seeing that August does not understand her, Anna sighs. Then she says, "Go early tomorrow morning. It is better to leave at dawn." August still seems to be confused. Anna turned her back and walked away. "It is better this way for the Duke and Duchess," Anna thought. "This is why I am not in a hurry to get married." August is now extremely puzzled. Should he trust the Duke's coldness or the Knight Captain's words? Should I believe the Duke or Anna? As he hesitates, August thinks about Anna's terrifying expression. August decides to apologize to the Duke. "I will just pretend I did not hear anything." Anna's words are better, right? At another small gathering, Violet and Barris are sitting next to each other. A few hours earlier, Violet and Barris were riding horses together, chatting a bit about what happened the day before. After riding, they ended up with Violet in Barris's arms as they headed to Isabel. They arrived at a beautiful little wooden house. When they arrived, Barris lifted Violet off the horse. "When we let go, we did not think much, but afterward, both seemed embarrassed. They talked to each other awkwardly. The house is really beautiful. How about having a barbecue tonight?" That is what happened, but currently they are at the campfire. Violet felt cold, so Barris used a cloak to cover her. "I told them to return before dinner, but it seems something went wrong." Violet smiled. "It is okay, it is nice and chilly here." Seeing Violet like that, Barris blushed, thinking to himself, "Well done, August." Barris asked Violet, "How about a drink, it might warm you up a bit." Violet happily agreed, "Sure." She remembered when she was in Enoch, she used to have a pretty high tolerance. She could easily drink 3 bottles of soju, so she guessed everything would be fine. Barris held up a bottle of wine and asked, "Have you ever tried it?" Violet replied, "I do not like wine. It is a bit bitter." Barris's eyes sharpened. "If you do not like wine, how about whiskey?" Violet cheerfully responded, "I like it." Violet said, "This is my first time trying whiskey." Barris silently watched Violet drink. He thought, I heard she had already tried whiskey back home. They even said she likes wine from La Pomme, and that she enjoys drinking because she can't drink alcohol and this is the weakest kind." Barris asked, "Do you want another glass?" Violet cheerfully replied, "Sure, it is really good." Barris said, "There are a lot of small animals around here." Violet immediately asked, "Insects and worms?" Barris smiled and replied, "Maybe even foxes and rabbits. I have already prepared a bow and arrows for hunting. Possible, would you like to go hunting?" After saying that, Barris silently waited for her answer. But Violet was lost in thought, wondering if this is the moment to kiss. Only at the 3rd level, but Violet already seems drunk. A special situation and a warm atmosphere. It is really different from before. I do not want to lose my first kiss while drunk, but I am not complaining either. Violet suddenly jumped up, hunting. But it was not long before she could not stand steadily. I had often died before, so it was not long before she was leaning on me, but fortunately, Barris caught her. As soon as she fell, Violet immediately passed out. Barris thought, she really can't control herself well, can she? Anyway, this place is not suitable. They have not been together since the wedding ceremony, and a week after that. I do not know who it was, why or how, but Violet has really changed. She is definitely a witch. Maybe it is not quite right, but sometimes I feel like I am just a possession. Barris slowly brought Violet into the house. He always gave her a cloak. If this woman is a witch, Then who is the real Violet? Barris wondered if it was possible to go find her. While thinking, you hear Violet mumble, "It is so cold." Seeing the petite Violet in his arms, Barris blushes. Violet is wearing his coat, even in his arms, the moment he realizes the truth. What kind of feeling is this? This woman is definitely a witch. I do not know what she is doing to me, but I think I should not do anything right now. It is already morning, but Barris's position has not changed. With that look, it seems like he has been up all night, so what if this woman really is a witch? A witch with supreme magic could overthrow the emperor. It would be a huge problem for an ordinary person like me. Would I be devoured? You see, Violet seems to be about to wake up, so I have to find out. Which one is the real Violet? Barris heard a noise outside and thought, August, you finally arrived. A moment later, Violet woke up and found herself sleeping on a bed. She sat up and looked around. Violet was surprised. Did I wake up too late? Where's Barris? He would not leave me, would he? Barris stood up and slowly walked out of the house, searching for all the witches and priests in the north. It seemed she had overheard someone's conversation. It turned out that Barris and August were talking to each other, before and after my wedding. August asked why suddenly. Barris's face looked dangerous. I thought Violet had been swapped on the day of the wedding. Violet, hiding in a corner, was startled upon hearing that. She had to find the real Violet. August said there is no such thing happening in the mansion. Barris continued, or it could be a soul exchange, not the body. If you can find a witch or priest in the north right now, it might be easier to find the real Violet. Violet peeking from behind, August noticed her. Madam, you are here. Seeing she was discovered, Barris immediately stepped out. Barris introduced August, saying, "This is August, you will have to meet him often, so remember his face." August said, "The first time we met was at the stables yesterday. Right, I am really looking forward to your performance." Violet stepped forward and said, "Nice to meet you, I wish you a bright future." Not sure what the two were thinking, but August immediately turned to look at Barris. August and Violet had met before in their hometown. It was August who brought her here. After the wedding, they also had a few short conversations in the city. But now she is acting like she has never met him. There is no need to dwell on this anymore. After a while, the three of them got on the carriage and returned. Violet sat on one side, extremely anxious, thinking that this time everything was ruined. August's reaction earlier. I think Barris actually knows about August. Violet is extremely worried. Could I be punished for impersonating the Duchess? Honestly, if a woman changes her personality, and if he misunderstands that I am a spy infiltrating to gather information, I am definitely doomed. Could I be tortured to confess the truth? Or executed in front of everyone? He is the type of person who would bring someone believed to be my ex-boyfriend right in front of me. Could they stop respecting me after all of this? Thinking about that, Violet began to cry. It is really hard to maintain a marriage when you only share a few things in everyday life. Violet shook her head. No, even if I have to enter a tiger's den or if there is no way out, there must be a way to survive. Violet's eyes were full of determination. All I can think about is how they behave. Barris, who was sitting next to her, was thinking. He saw Violet clasp her hands in prayer and thought, I thought all witches were the same, but maybe this case is different. He smiled. Well, anyway, it is kind of interesting. Suddenly, a crow perched on the car for a while and then flew off somewhere. It flies into the hands of a long-haired man, all right. Behind him, someone in a cloak asks, how's everything? He turns around and says, a bit. The cloaked person continues, I hope she can complete the mission. You are not doing anything else, right? The long-haired man says. Hearing that, the cloaked person gets angry. You think I said that because I am not sure. But before the cloaked person can continue, someone approaches from behind, slightly hurt. But stay calm, Hong Viet, and I will be careful. That person drapes a cloak over the other cloaked person. It is a bit cold, hang on. The long-haired guy also orders the raven to keep flying somewhere. First, I will pretend not to know. It would be terrible if she realized and ran away. There would be no chance to exchange souls anymore. No way to find a disembodied soul and return it to its original body. The strategy to prevent escape and torture might have to be abandoned. You look at Violet, I do not understand why you accepted me, but until I find a way to exchange their souls, do not even think about escaping. There is no choice but to cooperate until the goal is achieved. I want to know why, though the original Violet was indeed a beautiful woman. However, Barris remembers her smile again. If that soul does not look at me, and is nothing but her. Barris's gaze sharpens. I must speak out no matter what. But how can I do it? Suddenly Violet is startled, it seems she thought of something. Violet thinks, should I try to find the real Violet, or let Barris know that his wife's soul has been swapped? If I do that, will everything go smoothly afterwards? Both of them think about different things but end up with the same thought, everything will surely go according to plan. Violet looks out the window but she asks Barris, the direction to the city seems a bit different. Right, Barris replies, that is because the horse's path and the carriages are different. Might take a little longer, but it won't be too much time. Barris is still paying close attention to Violet's every move. Violet asks, are you hungry? Barris remains silent and does not answer. Seeing Barris like that, Violet continues, it seems like you have not had breakfast yet, right? I am wondering if you are hungry. Barris receives a bag from August. We still have to go a little further to reach the city center. He hands Violet some food, at least eat this. Violet smiled, it is not me, it is you. Barris was a bit surprised to hear that. But then he coldly replied, I am fine. After some time riding in the carriage, the three of them finally reached the neighborhood. Violet was surprised to see the passion and bustle of the place. As they walked, Violet kept gazing out the window. It felt completely different from the square, like a place where fairies live. Barris saw Violet's excitement and thought, it is like she is seeing a neighborhood where people live for the first time. If she were a witch living alone in some valley, it would all make sense. Violet's face, which was so eager just now, is now extremely anxious. Why is he staring at me like that? It feels like he is thinking I am an imposter. I need to find something to talk about. Violet stammered, since the carriage ride was so long, I hoped you would be in pain. Running like this, would not the horse be in pain too? After speaking, Violet immediately regretted it, thinking, what am I even saying? I should not make the atmosphere like this. After a while, the carriage stopped. August said, we have arrived at the location you mentioned. Violet sighed in relief, glad they finally arrived. But she did not notice Barris had already stepped out. Violet wondered, where is he going? Don't tell me Barris is getting off to take care of some business, and I am going back to the city alone. But contrary to her imagination, Barris got out and extended his hand towards her. Let us get off the carriage. Violet blushed, her eyes sparkling as she looked at Barris's hands. Barris's face also could not hide his shyness. Violet took Barris's hand and stepped out of the car. Barris said, if we go straight to the city, we will be very hungry, so let us stop by my shop for a bit. But after a moment, Barris let go of her hand, wondering, why did I let go? Violet looked a bit annoyed at Barris. Then, with her small hand, she reached out towards Barris's hand and grabbed two of his fingers. Barris blushed shyly when he saw that. Violet, walking beside you, what am I doing? It is like we are dating, like we are lovers. After walking for a while, the two arrived at a fancy restaurant. The table was filled with countless dishes. Violet ate happily, thinking the soup, the bread, even the main course was delicious. Glancing at Barris, but that look in his eyes makes me feel pressured. She felt a bit sad, thinking he spent the whole night with me in the cabin. And now I am treated to such delicious food too. Violet silently wept. Now that the two had grown a bit closer, it was truly unpleasant to deceive him. Violet thought about the future, but at all costs she had to survive. Take good care of yourself in the future, she thought. Amnesia. I am Violet who has amnesia. I have amnesia, I have amnesia. Alright. Violet spoke up, I have a question. What is the relationship between us? Barris was startled and froze upon hearing the question. Violet coughed once and continued. You can come to my room at night and give me gifts. Moreover, the location of the bedroom as well. I have thought about it. We are like a married couple, are not we? Is my thinking correct? Barris's hands trembled slightly as he heard this, but he said nothing. Violet looked at Barris with sparkling eyes, but why are not we husband and wife? Barris heard that and immediately spit out the water he was drinking. Violet pretended to look at Barris with innocent, sparkling eyes. Barris wiped his mouth with a handkerchief and said, maybe I need to explain the meaning of that story further. Violet thought so. She said, I am sorry if I startled you. She continued, I just feel like I am losing my memory. Barris heard that and just remained silent. He thought, if I am discovered to be a witch, I can't achieve my goal. I thought I would make up some excuses, but whatever it is, it has to be synchronized. You told Violet, first of all, we are a married couple, I will give her whatever she wants. The question startled Violet, she remembered something. Violet stammered that. I am not sure, but it was evening, you drew the curtains and told me to sleep. Barris just picked up his cup of tea and enjoyed it. Violet continued, and the next day you went out for a while and then came back, you had enough blood on the bedsheet. Barris said, it seems you do not remember anything before that, am I right? Violet nodded. Barris continued, that was the day we held our wedding. Violet pretended to be surprised when she heard that. Barris continued, and you are wondering why we have not had a marital relationship yet, right? He said, we had an arranged marriage, thinking about what kind of performance she would give in this situation. Violet asked, an arranged marriage, maybe because we are not used to each other yet. So we decided to wait 10 days after the wedding to consummate the marriage. Of course you would not remember, but tomorrow will be the 10th day. Violet was utterly shocked when she heard that. This is bad, she thought. When she got back to the carriage, she thought, what kind of situation have I gotten myself into? Is my fate really in my hands? Her face was drained of life. I have to leave. I know the Grand Duke is a monster, but everything has been a blatant lie. I can't say that I know it is not true. What should I do? What should I do? I thought I had overcome a turning point, an even bigger turning point. Barris just sat silently watching her. He thinks, how could he take over the body of a married woman without caring about it? Truly a witch, careless in many ways. Barris is watching Violet holding her face. It is really that close. Barris clenched his fist. But I definitely won't let it go. She does not understand anything, yet she brings up the matter of marital relations. He recalls what she said, wait, there is no marital relationship yet. He thinks, truly a small, beautiful and cunning witch. Barris is extremely angry. I am going to eat everything clean without leaving a trace. The next night. Violet is in the room. Good, it is all settled. Violet clenches her fist. Let us drink and then lie down. She thinks, even though it is the worst way, but I could not think of anything else, so there is no other choice. I can only stall like this until I come up with a better plan. But where should I buy the wine? I do not know where the kitchen or the wine cellar is. Violet sneaks out the door. There is no other way. I have to go to the market quickly, buy the wine and come back. Violet puts on a cloak. I am not running away and I will come back, so it should be fine. Violet looks out the window. She worries, hoping that one day we will understand each other better. As for Barris, he is in his room, holding something with a terrifying expression. Finally, I got what I wanted. In his hand is a bracelet, almost impossible to buy on the black market, capable of binding a soul to a body. It contains a dragon that holds the soul, healing the wounds on the body. Due to its side effects, now only madmen possess it. He looks at the box in his hand, deadly side effects. That is the story of when she died before me, the owner of the anklet. She definitely won't die first, so it should be fine. Barris went to Violet's door, wondering why there was no movement. He knocked on the door, thinking she might be asleep, which is why it was quiet. But after a while of knocking, there was still silence. Anna approached from behind. Anna started to worry when she saw the Duke exuding a murderous aura. Barris, his face full of anger, immediately locked down the north. Violet was squeezed in the middle of the street. As she was walking, someone suddenly grabbed her hand. He was the one who used a bug to eavesdrop on Violet and Barris. He gave Violet a terrifying look. But then his attitude changed and he smiled, saying, I am sorry, I mistook you for someone else. After saying that, he turned and walked away. Violet thought to herself, what a strange person. At this time, Barris's soldiers were searching every corner of the streets. In the middle of the group was Barris himself. He shouted, search everywhere. Barris stands in the middle of the dark street, thinking, I have been searching like this until dawn. In the morning I will have to restart the search network. Barris rubs his tired neck. No, but because she did not want to sleep together, she ran away. Otherwise, at least she should have told me to wait a little longer. I have waited 10 days and can't wait any longer. He is filled with anger. If I catch her, I won't let it slide. But while thinking, he suddenly notices a familiar figure. And that person is none other than Violet. Barris is extremely surprised and quickly rushes over. Barris grabs Violet's hand, thinking, please, let her soul still be in that body. Violet looked at Barris with a confused expression. She sighed, oh my God. Violet continued, what is going on? You do not look well at all. Barris remained silent, staring at Violet's hand. Then he lowered his head, took Violet's arm and pressed it to his face. Barris thought, if I find her, I will grab her and throw her into the room. I am planning this very carefully. Violet blushed when Barris suddenly did that. Barris, what are you doing? Seeing everything resolved, August told the soldiers, everyone disperse quickly. He glanced towards Barris, thinking that the Lord had captured the Duchess, hoping he could suppress his frustration. Even though everything went according to his wishes, August still looked back as he left. But why did it have to be a witch? Seeing everyone had gone, Barris asked, what are you doing here? Violet was surprised when she heard the question. Her expression darkened. Knowing she could not hide it anymore, Violet said, I needed some wine tonight, so I went out to buy some. Barris was surprised. Wine? He looked at the flustered Violet. Just because of wine? His heart was burning with anxiety. Not to mention because of wine. He had spent that night awake in the forest. Barris said, it seems like you did not drink enough last night. Violet was surprised. I drank. Barris continued, but you did not go overboard, so do not worry too much. Violet looked sad. I am sorry. It is okay, said Barris. Violet shyly covered her face. I used to be good at drinking and never had any bad habits when drunk, but now my body has changed. I can't drink anymore, and I can't predict what will happen when you do. Moreover, what should I do? The power of alcohol. Delaying the plan to sleep together is impossible. Seeing Violet's confusion, Barris stayed silent for a moment. Then suddenly he sat down on the ground. Barris looked up and said, give me your foot. Violet was surprised. Her hind leg. She thought, do not tell me he wants me to put my leg on his knee. She asked again, my leg? Barris replied, yes. Violet pouted. Barris was still waiting. She thought, there is no other way. Close your eyes tight. Violet slowly stretched her leg forward, and suddenly Barris quickly grabbed her leg. Violet looked down in surprise. It turned out that Barris had put the anklet he mentioned earlier on Violet's leg. He smiled smugly, now relieved. Even if she tried to escape, he could still find her. Barris imagined Violet crying and kneeling on the ground. Even if she begged in tears later, he would not take it off. Her feet were smaller than his hands. Violet asked Barris, is this an anklet? She looked down at her feet, feeling happy. Thank you, I will use it well. Barris looked at Violet. Beautiful, the sound is so clear and graceful. Violet suddenly remembered something and hesitated. Last time it was shoes, and now it is an anklet. Could it be a foot fetish? Thinking this, she looked towards Barris. Barris smiled. Let us go back. Violet also happily agreed, yes. But before leaving, Violet asked, is my habit when drunk really that bad? Barris thought for a moment and said, this is the first time in my life I have seen such a habit when drunk. From now on, do not drink unless I am by your side. As Barris spoke, he recalled the distorted memory of Violet holding him tightly, saying it was too cold. Seeing Violet's sadness, Barris continued, remember that well, do not drink unless I am by your side. Violet responded, can I drink when you are with me? Barris did not expect to hear that question. And he smiled. Then turned away and said, as long as I am here, it is fine. Seeing this, Violet cheered up. So do you want to drink today? Seeing Violet like that, Barris was helpless, not knowing what to say. Back in the room, Violet sat alone at the table. In short, nothing happened yesterday. Violet recalled, as soon as she got back, she threw herself into bed. She kept guard over her bedroom all night. Violet dozed off at the table, and stayed like that until morning. She thought, it is funny to say this, the one who made a fuss to avoid sleeping together at all costs, why did not he touch me? How could he leave without any regret? Violet looks at herself in the mirror. Am I not attractive? No, that is not it. Objectively speaking, the heroine is very beautiful. She does seem a bit thin, maybe lacking vitality. I do not think she fits someone with a strong and tough appearance. Violet starts imagining, maybe she should be more lively and cute, a graceful woman. Violet ponders deeply, should I give it a try? Who knows if I show some gracefulness? Violet's mind spins again. If I do that, will there be more soul in it? Barris swings open the balcony door and steps out, finally done with all the piled up paperwork. You remember what August said, this guy August, why does he cling to lunchtime? Please check the report, have to consider the early morning training, work as hard as the evening hours you have spent. Barris thinks about August and feels dizzy, it seems like he has gotten bolder lately. Barris looks around, wondering what Violet is doing now. Anna is in Violet's room. Barris thinks it seems like it is almost lunchtime. Lucky, sometimes you can hear laughter. Barris smiles, not bad at all. In the exam room, Violet is eating. Anna asks, is it tasty? It is delicious. Anna said, there is someone I want to introduce to you, so I brought them here, and with that, someone appeared from behind Anna. She stepped out and introduced herself. I am Mort Holy, from the family of Viscount Ogert, who has served the Duke's family for generations. She smiled happily. It is an honor to meet you. Anna introduced, she is a pure and discerning person. I brought her here because I thought it would be wonderful if she could be your maid. Mort Holy said, I was originally chosen to be your servant, but a few months ago, I suddenly fell seriously ill and was close to death. Violet was trying to endure the aura emanating from Mort Holy. Luckily I met a good doctor and overcame the critical illness, but because I had to recuperate for a while, I could not enter the castle on time. However, I really wanted to meet you, so I wonder if you could still give me the maid position. Mort Holy approached Violet closely. I am very happy to have met you. Violet thought, so that is how it is. Violet was startled. Wait a minute, thinking back. She compared the image she just thought of with Mort Holy, the graceful woman she had in mind, and found them to be quite similar. Noticing such a coincidence, Violet could only spray adhesive. Anna remained silent, standing aside, watching the two of them. She thought, even though her expression was not great, it is a relief she accepted it without saying anything. The Duchess has never asked for anything since arriving at this castle. She never expressed dissatisfaction with the simple food and unadorned clothing. She did not ask to replace anything in the old dusty castle. At most, she only wanted to go outside a bit. Since then, she has only spent a very small amount from the fund. She never hides her true feelings or has any ulterior motives. Seeing Violet smile, it is hard to believe one could be so innocent and pure. Anna thinks of someone. Perhaps by tomorrow at the latest, the Queen will reach out. The Lord assumed they had married in secret, so he only wrote a report to the Emperor. But the Queen has the Emperor in her grasp, so there is no way she does not know. The Queen has lived a life where she does not have to hide her feelings, as the most noble woman in the Empire. But a woman born out of wedlock quickly became a noble, and became the wife of her only younger brother. Thinking about this, Anna felt a bit confused. She sighed while thinking, even though he was the most precious person in the world. Anna continued to think about the Queen, but she was not someone who knew how to care for others or say kind words, although she would not bully or dismiss anyone if displeased. No matter what she hears, that innocent woman, I hope she won't be hurt, Mort Holy said to Violet. Would you like some tea after your meal? Sure. Seeing Violet's expression, Anna could not hide her worry. I am so concerned about her. Seeing Violet's permission, Mort Holy immediately stepped forward to pour her some tea. Mort Holy said, Duchess, does it suit your taste? Violet is still dazed, thinking she is so fresh and cute. Mort Holy says, thank goodness, I have been practicing really hard. Violet wonders why she feels so down, so dazzling. It really suits Barris. As soon as mentioned, Barris appears. He steps forward from behind. Barris does not say anything and sits down opposite Violet. Violet is still paying attention to Mort Holy. After Barris's appearance, she seems frightened. Mort Holy pours tea with trembling hands. Violet thinks she is trembling. I understand. If there was such a handsome man in front of me, of course I would tremble too, just like her. Feel like an idiot. Violet clutched her dress tightly. Showing grace does not mean one's nature will change. Barris noticed Violet's expression. He immediately called for Mort Holy. As Mort Holy approached, Barris signaled that she could leave. Taking the chance, Mort Holy quickly ran off. Just as she reached the door, Mort Holy collapsed to the ground. She cried. It was truly terrifying. She almost burst into tears. She recalled trembling as she held the teapot. She was so nervous that her hands were shaking. She feared she would be fined for making a mistake, which made her shake even more. Mort Holy thinks about Violet. On the contrary, the Duchess is truly wonderful. She remains completely calm in front of the Duke. In Mort Holy's mind, Violet is very different from reality. Mort Holy, the tea is really delicious. Mort Holy remembers Violet with sparkling eyes. The Duchess is truly amazing. She encourages herself. I will try my best. I will become a wonderful maid who suits the Duchess. But in reality, Violet is feeling very down. Barris notices Violet and thinks. Her expression changes little by little even in a short time. She is really impulsive and cute. Violet has also noticed that Barris is staring at her. Barris says, let us have dinner together, what do you think? Violet smiled brightly and agreed, sure. Seeing Violet's smile made Barris's heart race. He thought, why not suggest a walk and some champagne? I do not think she would refuse. Violet was still lost in thought. Get a grip. Is the reason I am jealous of Mort Holy because, deep down, I want Barris's attention all to myself. We got married and spent 2 days and 1 night together. I have done everything I could. Now I want to spend more time with Barris. Violet stood in front of Barris. Can you take me for a walk outside the castle? Violet looked at Barris, waiting for his answer. Barris was a bit surprised, still thinking about something. Then Barris smiled, all right. For some reason, hearing his answer made Violet blush. Barris stepped in front of Violet, bowed. Shall we? Yes. Violet felt shy when she saw Barris extend his hand towards her. Without thinking, Violet took it. Outside the mansion, Violet is holding Barris's hand as they walk out. Barris thinks indeed the castle is too gloomy, so it might not suit her. Violet points towards a building. What is that building? Barris replies, it is a place occasionally used when guests arrive or for hosting parties. It is empty now. Violet remarks, I see. Seeing her expression, Barris thinks, is she going to pull me towards that building? A woman as light as a rabbit, what strength could she have? Barris smiled, but even a little bit of strength is enough to be shaken. Not bad at all. Violet, with her small figure, is still trying to pull Barris away. That building is empty. If that is the case, then it is thanks to the atmosphere and luck. She imagined the scene of the two kissing, wondering if she could get a kiss. Is this thought going too far? First, they just keep walking, not noticing someone following them from behind. That person radiates an incredibly ominous aura. Barris and Violet step into a dark room. Violet, a bit scared, tightly held Barris's hand. Anyway, this place is really quiet. Violet looked around. Did you hear something? Barris, confused, said, it seems like it is the sound of Nephi. Violet, scared, asked, what is that? Barris replied, it is the ghost woman who lives on the 4th floor of this building. Hearing that, Violet screamed, why are you telling me this now? Barris, surprised, asked, telling you what? You mean the ghost story? Barris calmly continued, I do not care much. I did not know there were people who are afraid of ghosts. The woman is standing upstairs, observing. It seems Barris saw her. She screamed in fear. She urgently grabs Barris's hand. Get out, hurry up, all right. Violet tries her best to pull Barris out as fast as she can. Come on, hurry up. She thinks this is a world where dragons and magic truly exist, so how could there be no ghosts? Looking at Barris's expression, Violet thinks, I used to be terrified of ghosts. Back then, I brainwashed myself into thinking they were not real. At this moment, Violet shuts her eyes tightly. There won't be any here either. But is not it too much? I told him I was afraid of ghosts, but he was so insensitive. Violet still tried to pull Barris along, not caring about me at all. It is really sad. As soon as they stepped outside, they suddenly saw the city gate wide open. A convoy of carriages was entering from the outskirts. Barris thought, who would be patrolling outside at this hour? Anyway, the people under my command are unnecessarily diligent. The carriage stopped in front of Violet and Barris. A beautiful woman stepped out of the carriage. She spoke, it has been a long time, little brother. Barris's face shows a bit of worry. Long time no see, sister. She looks over at Violet. I heard you got married. Seeing his sister aiming at Violet, Barris quickly steps in front of her. Do not worry about it. Barris's sister stays silent after hearing that. She gives a smile that seems extremely dangerous. After a while, Barris's sister enters his room. Barris approaches from behind. Why are you here? Coming to our parents' house must have a reason, right? Barris continues, I think it is too far to come here without any reason. I already heard the news on the way here. Are you looking for the witch? Barris was irritated. There is no such thing. Can you help me? No need. She started mentioning Violet. Your relationship with your wife seems good. Barris seemed to get her point and coldly said, don't mind it. She said, we are family now, you have to get used to it. Just think of it as non-existent and live as before. When Barris said that, she replied, what if we run into each other on the road and argue? You have to recognize each other to avoid arguments. Barris became increasingly irritated. Stop thinking such ridiculous things, unless you want to turn the palace into a sea of fire. After Barris said that, the two of them fell silent and stared at each other. She continued, even though she was on the battlefield, she seemed to live well. Barris was about to reach for something, luckily. Currently Barris is walking around, looking hurried. All witches are like that, arrogant, cunning, ready to do anything. Barris clenched his fist. Can the royal palace be controlled by demons at will? So troublesome. Barris thought, come to think of it, do any witches fear demons? Witches often treat demons like familiar people. Barris started calculating. The clues to finding the real Violet have increased. It is rare for a witch to fear demons. And usually when a witch takes over a body, the soul of the body's owner is either removed or imprisoned. An innocent and weak witch, there is no reason to handle things so cruelly. Thinking this, Barris became a bit crazed for a moment. He smiled, thinking, I have to make things right. Perhaps the owner of this body will never be able to return. The next morning, as Violet was just waking up, she groggily thought, I slept so well. I wonder if Barris is awake. What if we have breakfast together? Before she could think any further, she saw Barris in her room, standing by her bed and looking out the window. Seeing Barris, Violet immediately pulled the blanket over herself. She pondered in the painting. What should I do? Did he see everything? I just woke up, so my face is still swollen and my hair is a mess. Just imagining it makes me hate it. Hurts so much. Seeing Violet like that because of my presence, Barris immediately approached saying sorry. Barris's face was a bit awkward. I'm sorry, I did not mean to startle you. Violet poked her head out from the painting. What is going on so early in the morning? Barris stammered. Teach that. Barris thought, to be honest, there is a dangerous witch in Belial now. Can I say that the witch is targeting her? Violet looked like a little rabbit lying in the painting. She seemed like a fragile rabbit, scared even at the sight of ghosts. If she knew the truth, she might faint. My sister is different from other witches. If it is this woman, she could be taken down in one move without even realizing it. I have contacted the Empire to take the witch away. Just be careful until then. You look down at the line of spirits. Until then, is there any reason to get involved? No, right? Violet suddenly startled and pulled the blanket off. Her face looked a bit frightened. I'm sorry, I was a little surprised. Barris saw that and said, I did not mean to scare you, but you probably already knew that. Nephi has been missing since we visited the office yesterday. Maybe she likes you. Violet heard that and seemed dazed. Missing? What do you mean likes me? Barris sat down next to the bed. There was a servant watching over Nephi, but they say she disappeared early in the morning. Sometimes she will target women who are alone and take over their bodies. Everything Barris has said so far is just a lie. Violet, afraid of ghosts, covered herself with a blanket as soon as she heard that. Barris asked, what are you doing? Violet replied, nothing, so I should not be alone, right? That is right. Barris pointed out the window. There is something over there. Just hearing that made Violet jump. She quickly grabbed Barris's arm. Really, what is it? Seeing Violet like that, Barris thought, if I do this right, maybe tomorrow we won't be apart. Barris held Violet's hand. Suddenly there was a voice from outside. Mort Holy, is that you? Mort Holy brought a tea cart over. I will help you change your clothes. When Violet saw Mort Holy coming, she immediately left Barris alone. Thank you, Mort Holy. Seeing this, Barris looked a bit reluctant. The atmosphere was very cheerful. There was no romance at all. How could she be made a maid? Mort Holy, noticing Barris's somber expression, trembled in fear. Barris thought, why is Violet so happy? If she were not August's youngest sister, I would have replaced her already. Mort Holy was still worried as she observed Barris's expression. Mort Holy recalled what August had said. The key to survival, listen carefully, little sister. If the Lord's mood seems off, stand near the Grand Duchess. That is the only way to ensure your safety. Hearing that, it is a bit confusing, but I will remember it, brother. After the break, she approached Violet closely. Seeing Mort Holy's expression, Violet asked, what is wrong, Mort Holy? Mort Holy, trembling with fear, grabbed Violet's dress. I want to have breakfast together. After Mort Holy said that, Barris looked at Mort Holy as if he wanted to devour her. After hearing Mort Holy's words, Violet turned to Barris. You will wait, right? Seeing Violet look at him, Barris immediately replaced his dangerous gaze with a sparkling one, of course. Mort Holy, seeing the situation in front of her, understood what her brother had said. As soon as she stepped outside, Mort Holy leaned against the door. Brother was absolutely right. She held her hand tightly. The spot next to the Duchess is the safest place. She must protect it with her life. Right now, Barris and Violet are walking somewhere in the hallway. Violet walks while watching the butterflies flying around the lush green branches by the hallway. It is definitely warmer than when I first came here. She smiles happily. Spring has arrived. Seeing Violet like that, Barris approaches her, asking, is there something here? Why are you smiling? When asked, Violet points to the white butterflies flying around. There is a white butterfly over there. Think it looks like me. It needs to find flowers to gather nectar. But there are no flowers here, no home, no one to care for it. When the wind blows, it will be thrown off course, but it still remains resilient and brave. I thought of that when I saw it flying around looking for flowers. Barris looked at Violet, thinking. She spoke as if she was certain she would leave here one day. Did she mean that being by his side was just a temporary stop? He grabbed Violet's shoulders. I can do that. He moved closer to Violet. A house that protects you and a caretaker. I can be that. He looked at her with determined eyes. Hearing this, Violet remained silent, her sparkling eyes fixed on Barris. Whether it is flowers or anything else, as long as you say you need it, I will walk any thorny path. As Barris thought this, he silently gazed at her. Violet, confused, was startled. Is he angry? Seeing Barris remain silent, I wonder if what I said sounded like a complaint, like I was seeking protection, and that is why I gritted my teeth and said it. Anna clenched her dress. It took a lot of time to heal, but they still have a good relationship. No, even if it is impossible, I still want to be a companion. Violet looked at Barris with sparkling eyes. Let us go out together. Seeing Violet's expression, Barris could not help but blush. But then he thought, I want to go, but I am sure my sister is waiting for an opportunity outside. My slightly crazy sister would not come here without a reason. Deep down, I want to lock Violet in the room and absolutely not let them meet. Seeing Barris still silent, Violet looked down. Why is not he answering? Does Barris not want to go with me? It would be great if we could go out together, eat delicious food, and enjoy ourselves. But why is not he answering? If only he would answer quickly, that would be great. Just say you will go with me, let us go together, please. Barris thought, I can see what she is thinking. Barris sighed. Is there anywhere you want to go? Violet immediately grabbed Barris's hand. Let us go to the market. Smiling brightly, going to the market together and eating snacks. Later on, even if she hears all the rumors and truths about me, she won't smile as brightly and hold my hand like this anymore, right? Barris placed his other hand on Violet's hand. I have something to tell you. The woman you met yesterday is my sister. Hearing that, Violet was startled. What, you have a sister, she thought. That was not mentioned in the rules. Violet recalled the moment she met that woman. Moreover, why did not he introduce her yesterday? I have already become someone who disregards her sister-in-law. Violet started crying. My first impression is already bad. Barris said, your memory has not returned yet. Violet was startled again. Still has not. Barris reassured her. Take it easy, Violet. Yes, she replied. As soon as they stepped outside, a voice could be heard. Look at that. It turns out Barris's sister has been waiting here all along, just coming out now. Seeing her, Violet immediately felt cheerful, a chance to change the first impression. Hello. But before Violet could say anything more, Barris stepped in front of her. Seeing this, his sister's expression turned displeased. Barris's expression was no different. Sensing the tense atmosphere, Violet peeked out. Hello, I am Violet, the one who married Grand Duke Barris. Violet, with a very eager expression, I just heard you arrived. It is nice to meet you. I hope we can have a good relationship in the future. Barris's sister heard that and said, are not we trying to have a good relationship, Barris? I feel like you are an uninvited guest. She looked over at Violet and said, I am also very happy to meet you, Violet. How about we have dinner together tonight? Without giving Violet a chance to respond, Barris said with a frightening look, no way. Seeing that, Violet quickly grabbed Barris's hand and said, sorry, but I already have plans with this person today. She clung to Barris's arm. How about tomorrow instead? Hearing Violet say that, Barris glanced at her. Barris's sister stood there thinking, though he acts like he does not like it, he can't speak up against his wife. She then responded to Violet, that is a good idea. She thought, I have met the right person. The Barris castle was built to stop the monsters from the eternal snowy mountains in the north from descending. As the frequency of monsters coming down from the snowy mountains decreased, people began gathering near the castle. The Grand Duke allowed them to form a village and helped them when they needed. At that time, rumors spread that the ruler of Barris took good care of the residents, and people struggling to make a living from all over the empire flocked there. To sustain the exponentially growing population, stone mining operations were. In the north, there were many magical ore deposits formed from dragon remains that had been there for a long time. Thus, mining proceeded without any obstacles, and Barris, which also accumulated wealth through byproducts like monster hides, quickly became wealthy. And 200 years later, Sania, at the age of 27, at a somewhat awkward age, made her debut at the Imperial Palace. A witch from the north, she captivated everyone at the Imperial Palace in an instant. Less than a year after appearing at the Royal Palace, Hon Min had become a duchy, as the limits on tributes and military forces disappeared. So it turns out Violet is reading about the history of this place. While reading, Mort Holy, who dislikes someone, suddenly approaches. The Grand Duchess, are you taking a walk? Violet sees this and asks, the person next to Cola. Mort Holy immediately introduces. Do you remember what I told you the other day? This is the doctor who saved me from the brink of death, truly a remarkable person. The other person bows. It is an honor to meet you, Grand Duchess. He smiles at Violet. I hope you will take care of me. Violet, seeing this, could only reply. She looked at him and thought, this person seems so familiar. Seeing Violet staring at him, the doctor asks, is there something you want to say? Startled, Violet says, no, nothing at all. I think I might have mistaken you for someone else. Mort Holy asked, Duchess, What is the next item on the agenda? After seeing the two of them not paying attention to her, she noticed the other's expression seemed different when talking to Violet. Suddenly, Mort Holy was surprised. So, it is just you and the Lord going to the market? Violet smiled brightly. That is right. At this moment, Barris and Violet were walking together to the market. Violet seemed very happy. She was humming a tune as she walked. Violet turned back and said to Barris, "Let us buy some snacks and then go to the fountain." Barris saw Violet and just silently admired her smile. Barris thought, I should have expected what would happen. The moment I followed her like this, it might have been the happiest. Barris looked towards the crowded market. As they arrived, everyone was looking at Violet and Barris. Barris felt a bit anxious. I knew this would happen. I have gone through this for a very long time, it is natural. But for Violet, this hostile atmosphere might make her feel confused. I was too excited and ended up making her experience something like this. But contrary to what Barris thought, Violet was like a light dispelling the gloom around him. She turned back, smiled, and asked Snacks, "What do you like to eat?" She asked, "Do you like eating apples?" Barris heard the question and just stayed silent. He looked at the eyes of everyone around and the gossip or whispers directed at him and Violet. He smiled, thinking, I decided that I liked it just now. Violet pulled Barris's hand, saying, "Let us go buy apples first." Barris smiled, his heart full of happiness. Violet looked different from when she talked to Barris. Her face seemed angry. What is this, so frustrating? I am not angry, but this is too lonely. Everyone who was just there is looking at Barris with fear in their eyes. In a moment of urgency, they are afraid of the person who will protect them. This is too. She tightly grabs Barris's hand. This is too lonely. The two of them sit together eating apples by the fountain. But then Violet snatches Barris's apple. Wait a moment. She uses a cloth to wipe the apple for Barris. Seeing this, Barris asks, "What are you doing?" Violet replies, "I am cleaning the apple." Barris is a bit confused. What? But then he does not care anymore and smiles. Violet saw Barris smile, so she smiled too. Violet thought, he is smiling. Violet looked at Barris and smiled with a radiant expression. After a long time with the apple, Violet handed it to Barris, thinking, it will taste better this way. She thought, the amount of food you can eat in a day is already set. Violet said, it will taste better if it is cleaned. Barris just silently stared at the apple, which seemed to glow in his hand. He looked up at the blue sky, thinking maybe this is happiness. They both brought the apple to their mouths and took a bite together. Violet was still paying attention to Barris's expression. Violet is thinking, will this work? That is right, it has to be now, it can only be now. Barris also noticed Violet's slightly strange expression. When Barris noticed her, Violet winked at him. It was so unexpected that Barris spit out the apple he was eating. Violet patted his back. Are you okay? I will go get some water. Barris thought, what did I just see? If it was not an illusion, she definitely winked, right? I have seen my subordinates do this to the women they like, and it always ends in failure. Now doing it to me. Barris turned to look at Violet, but Violet turned away. He had to confirm if it was real or just an illusion. Barris moved closer to Violet. What did you just do? Violet was startled by the question. Violet thought, what do I do now? Violet could not stand it any longer. She shouted, my stomach hurts so much. Violet, wait a minute, if I get sick, will Barris take care of me? Violet, you changed the subject. Oh no, it is not because this apple is so good that I think my stomach hurts. Haha, that is all. Violet thinks, I am crazy, what did I just do? Looking at his reaction, he probably does not like this much. Barris thinks, I am so dumb for not understanding what she is doing. How should I react? Even I find it ridiculous. They both fell into an awkward silence for a moment. Barris turns his face away, but still, it is kind of cute. Violet thinks about Barris, but still, it is kind of cool. After returning, Violet went to take a shower. She soaks herself in the tub. Barris, is he stupid? Even though I said I would guide him, how can he keep up with such a fast pace? Can't he tell the difference between a wink and a sly glance? He must be trying to convince himself that he did not see my wink. Violet is drowsy. Now I am sure he is too dumb to tell the difference. I am really such a fool, so tired. If he does not notice, won't all my efforts to be cute go to waste? It is terrible. Violet sits sadly and silently in the bathroom. She thinks it usually preys on single women and tries to upgrade its body too much. Remembering the escaped ghost, Violet suddenly jumps out of the tub in shock. Considering the decline in the number of people coming and going, there are still 5 people who can comfortably enter this place. Some of Anna's servants only work here and then return. Now Anna is preparing dinner, and it is also the time when Mort Holy finishes work. Barris is holding his head in his study, and August hardly ever comes here. Violet quickly gets out of the bathtub. Am I alone? She opens the netting in front of the door. Violet does not have time to get dressed. She quickly throws on a robe and fearfully runs out. Barris warned me not to be alone. Did you forget, you fool, you fool? She quickly runs towards Barris's room. Barris, please be in your room. After resting, she opens the door, and as soon as she steps in, she sees Barris taking off his shirt, about to bathe. Seeing Violet suddenly rush in, Barris approached and asked. But as he got closer, he saw Violet was crying. When she saw him, she cried even louder, startling Barris. Hey, do not cry, what is wrong? Violet did not answer but continued to cry. The two, Violet and Barris, were sitting by the fire. As they sat, Violet leaned on Barris's shoulder. Suddenly Barris noticed, wait, hold on. As he looked again, Barris seemed to have noticed her outfit. Barris had a serious expression. What is going on here? Barris quickly turned his face away, but upon thinking again, it seemed like her clothes did not fit well. There was not any clothing under that robe at all. What is she wearing under that robe? If I ask such crazy questions, she will definitely call me a pervert. I do not want to hear that. Barris sighed deeply. He turned to Violet. What are you doing? Violet replied, I am bathing. Barris appeared calm, but in his mind, it was a different story. Bathing. Why did she rush out in that outfit? I still want to ask why she was crying and many other things. I do not want to ask such questions because I think she might leave. Barris just stayed silent, letting Violet rest on his shoulder. Seems like she is really sleepy. Barris looked at Violet. She must be exhausted from crying so much. I moved my bed so I could sleep. He does not need to sit next to me. Barris asked, are you cold? Violet wondered why. Barris said, I thought so because you kept clinging to that shawl. At first, Violet did not quite understand. But after a moment she realized. Violet was startled, suddenly remembering. She was not wearing anything under this robe. I really forgot, am I crazy? Did Barris notice? What if he thinks I am a freak? This is so wrong. Violet anxiously looks over at Barris. Did he notice? Barris just silently gets up and goes to add more wood to the fire. Violet is relieved, thank God, it seems like he did not notice. But in truth, Barris noticed long ago. Barris thinks, what made her come here and smile like that? My heart truly breaks when I see her cry. If she smiles like that again, it makes me want to make her cry and be afraid of me. There won't be any hobby as strange as this. It can't be detected. Finally, the sun has risen. August arrives at Barris's room. Sir. August thinks he is not responding again. August opens the door about the witch you mentioned last time. But as soon as he looks into the room, what catches his eye is blonde hair. August is shocked. Blonde hair. While he is suddenly lost in thought, the door slams shut, causing him to fall. August clutches his aching nose. How strange. From the crack in the door, a gaze full of murderous intent looked out. Why? Seeing Barris, August immediately reported, it seems there is a witch to the north right now. This won't be easy, because witches can know if they have been detected quickly. We will be in big trouble, but until now we have kept this secret. Barris held August's hand, turning it back and forth overnight. August read what was written on the document. Bandages. Among the witches, there are very few who wish for a normal life. No, she wants to conceal her decaying body and instead take another. It is true, if the body is her goal, she certainly has no intention of coming back. Barris handed the document to August. Find her. No matter how difficult it is, we must do it. A decaying body or a hidden family. I need to find something that could be a weakness. I will do my best if I can keep her by my side. Whether it is the past or whatever happens, if she wants to leave me, I will find a weakness to hold her back. August looks at Barris's face and thinks, this is Barris's anger. It is still daylight. I hope everything will be fine. Should I bring the lady into the inner city first? I must arrange a group of strong soldiers to be commanders. If Anna and I work together, everything will be resolved. A look that seems like it will flee if you push. I am not confident I can definitely protect him. However, if they could move the entire mansion. August shuddered at the thought. If that really happened, it would be chaotic. Perhaps the lady is the Duke's brake pedal, so I want to stay as close as possible. But first we have to go down and pray. After August left, Barris still stood at the door of the room. It seemed like he was contemplating something very important. Violet was still sound asleep in Barris's bed. She slept without a care in the world. Barris approached Violet. She was sleeping without making any noise. How strange. When Violet moved in her sleep, parts of her body were exposed. Barris covered his face. His hunch was right, she was not wearing anything. Barris acted as if nothing happened, trying not to feel awkward. He could not tell if this woman was scared of others or just sleeping carelessly. This is really... Violet continued sleeping, unaware of what was happening. Barris grabbed numerous blankets, thinking about how someone as skinny as her might catch a cold from the chilly air. After a while, Violet was covered with a pile of blankets. Barris walked out of the room. Now it is time to take a cold shower to cool down. Hearing the door slam, Violet quickly sat up. She looked toward the door. Is he really just going to shower, is that all? Or have I become more sensitive because of the ghosts? When the door opened, I was already awake and just pretended to stay in bed. When Barris kept staring at me. Violet covered her body with her hands. Their kiss. We are not done yet. Did we skip too many steps? I was about to get up and shout. Luckily I did not, or I would have written the most embarrassing story of this century. Violet lay back down on the bed. It is best if I just go back to sleep. She covers her face, but at this point, should I be angry because he did not touch me or because he did not touch me? Violet sits up and looks somewhere. She slowly crawls toward the door. She sits by the bathroom door of Barris, just in case a ghost appears. She looks at the doorknob, ready to quickly open it and escape if the ghost appears. Meanwhile, inside the room, Barris is taking a shower, unaware that Violet is sitting outside the door. Barris thinks if one could become proficient, they would sense the presence outside. Barris looks towards the door. It seems like he has realized something. I guess she is behind that door. Even though this cold water can't calm me down because I know she is right behind me. Is she trying to kill me? This is torture. Violet weakly from outside. Are you still there? Barris thought of Violet's expression. So scared of ghosts. That ghost is terrifying. Barris blushed. Why is her voice trembling like that? So cute. After bathing, Barris quickly got dressed. If I open the door and step outside now, I will run into Violet. We met in the morning in front of the bathroom. We look more like a couple now. As he stepped out, he saw Violet wrapped in a blanket, sitting in front of the bathroom door with teary eyes. Violet started crying again. So scared. Barris felt very awkward when he saw Violet crying. Barris was startled because she curled up so much that she looked like a little bean. After Anna arrived, Violet was able to return to her room. She sat on the chair thinking, I can't leave like this. She looked around and saw many servants. If I already have everything today, I just need to go outside because the outside is filled with people. But at night, thinking of this, Violet's expression became gloomy again. Anna noticed this and asked, is something troubling you? Violet replied, actually, I am a little afraid of ghosts. I have heard Barris talk about Nephi's story. So I think if I am alone, the spirits will come after me. I am so worried. But what Anna said startled Violet. Nephi is a ghost with a master. She knows about rituals, lifestyle, and was a royal servant of the Duke's family. So you have no reason to be afraid at all. And that very ghost is protecting this place in the Barris estate, both inside and outside. All of it is her domain, so no other ghost can enter. So there is no reason to be afraid at all. Hearing this, Violet started to feel confused. She remembered what Barris had told her. Now thinking back, Barris, he did say that. If the ghost here is as scary as I know it to be. Anna smiled and continued. Nephi is very kind and a bit shy. If she knew you were afraid of her, she definitely would not come close. In Anna's mind, Nephi was incredibly adorable. Upon hearing this, Violet could finally breathe a sigh of relief. First it sounded like a bird. There is a ghost here living like a human. I wonder if they will listen to me. At least I am not as scared now. Suddenly Violet remembered something. She recalled the actions she had taken upon learning of the ghost's existence. Those incredibly embarrassing actions kept replaying in Violet's mind. Oh my God, what have I done? They must have laughed at me so much. Barris, even though he knows everything, why does not he say anything? Seeing Violet's expression, Anna seems worried. Violet starts crying. He is really terrible. I need to get to the bottom of this. It is time. No, I do not have time for this. I want to look beautiful for dinner with my sister-in-law tonight. Thinking that, she regains her confidence and stands up, which startles Anna. She turns to Anna. Anna, help me. In the evening, Sania is waiting in the room. After a while, Violet and Barris arrive. Hello, have you been waiting long? Seeing them arrive, Sania stands up from the chair. It is okay. Seeing Sania like that, Violet is delighted. She really has a smile just like Barris's. Violet said to Sania, the sky is so beautiful and the wind is so cool, is not it? While chatting happily with Sania, Violet noticed Barris's unenthusiastic expression. Seeing this, Violet elbowed Barris. She made a sulky face. Now I know this person did not hurt me for glory. They all went to dinner together, and on the way Violet said, earlier I saw a butterfly, I think it will bloom soon. The north is still very cold even though it is already summer, right? I am really looking forward to it. Sania just listened silently to Violet. Interesting. She thought, the noblewoman I met in the Empire also said strange things. But after a while, most of them got disappointed and stopped talking. Sometimes there are people who walk around pretending to be friendly until the party. They are the ones who flatter others. On the other hand, she did not feel that way, or maybe she was just too stupid, naive. This fool is following his wife around like a royal dog. After thinking for a moment, Sania said, I am really looking forward to summer. Barris was startled by this. Anna saw that they had something in common and immediately reached out to hold Sania's hand. That is wonderful. Barris follows behind, observing their conversation. He is quite surprised by what his sister says. After a short while, all three of them arrive at the dining table. Barris eats while thinking, today she did not even look me in the eyes, she must have. Barris sighs, serving food to Violet. I think it is because this is the first time all three of us have met. We must be cautious. Violet smiles. What does the capital look like? Sania replies, it is just a place where people live, it is all the same. Hearing the casual answer, Violet still remains cheerful, but I think there must be many beautiful buildings and rare items there, right? Sania asked, what does your hometown look like? Violet answered, it is a southern suburb with lots of flowers and always peaceful. Suddenly, Violet realized something. She looked at Sania. Why did I answer so quickly? Violet continued, it is a warm place. Violet kept thinking, if my hometown really is in the south. She then recalled her time in Enoch. I still remember my entire life in Dumi's form. My hometown is not in the southern part of the empire, but it is in Enoch. Thinking about that made Violet feel a bit sad. Barris noticed and thought, could this foolish witch have forgotten that she just lost her memories? I know her hometown, thank heavens. But what caught Barris's attention was Sania. But my sister already knew. She must have realized Violet is a witch by now. With incredibly sharp eyes, in case Violet is in danger. The soul of witchcraft's power is a dangerous demon, Krodos. Focusing energy will either increase or decrease sooner or later. So if a witch loses her power, it is certain that she should be taken away. As far as I know, the number of witches my sister has defeated must be over 200. I can't imagine how strong she is now. If her current power is not enough to satisfy her, her next target will be this little witch rabbit. Suddenly, Barris took Violet's hand and stood up. He held Violet's hand and looked towards Sania. Perhaps it would be better to end the meal now. After saying that, Barris immediately led Violet away. After a while they left the dining room. Barris noticed that Violet's expression was a bit sad. Suddenly a question startled Violet. Did you get taller? Violet angrily moved closer to Barris. So you think I can't get any taller? Seeing Violet angry, Barris quickly tried to reassure her. Oh no, I did not mean that. Barris felt awkward. He did not expect that wanting to speak to her like an ordinary woman would lead to such a misunderstanding. Barris sadly watched Violet leave. Violet, both hurt and angry, thought, so what if I am smaller than Barris? It is because he is too big, not that I am too small. It turns out Violet was wearing high heels that made her taller. Today I even wore special high heels. This is so upsetting. During the whole meal, he kept peeling shrimp for me without eating any himself. I thought I might forgive him a little for that. Do I really look like a child? Se was still sitting in his room, drinking tea. August came in and bowed to greet Se. He asked, how are you, sir? Sania coldly replied, it is none of your business. Hearing this, August said, usually within 2 days of the full moon from today, could the queen be with the Duchess? Sania heard this and appeared displeased. Why should it be me? August was surprised at this response. He silently cried inside, thinking, might as well say no outright like this. How can I get him to agree? August then knelt down. Please give me an answer that would satisfy you. Sania remained silent, deep in thought. In reality, even if you could give me what I wanted, I already have it. After thinking for a while, it seems that Sania has decided on something. She said to August, tell me why Barris is looking for witches. August was startled upon hearing that. Could it be that she already knows everything? He thought, I must be careful with my words. I must try not to mention her or the lady either. August said, not long ago, A strange man approached the castle, and he was suspicious with his entire body wrapped in bandages. While investigating this man, we discovered a large number of items that seemed to have been used by witches and were traded on the snowy mountain. After that, we guessed that witches were behind this, so we tried to learn more about it. Hearing that, Sania thought, I think he probably knows everything, though I have already offered him a deal. He does not need to tell me what I already know. Sania put down her teacup. Your words do not seem very trustworthy, moreover. She turned towards August. Barris said he already has a spiritual circle. Sania's eyes became frightening. Tell me, does Barris possess a witch, so he tries to capture other witches to nurture her? August was quite surprised by Sania's assumptions. He thought starting this conversation was a mistake. Is it too much of a coincidence that the queen went to the north right when the lord was assassinated? One person exhales, another inhales, the movement of people, eyes intently watching every muscle on his face, not asking to know the answer but as if he already knows everything. August trembled. Your Grace, we are doomed for sure. At this moment, Barris was sitting in the room. It seems he was still unaware of the conversation between August and Sania. He was thinking about Violet's angry expression. Although she was not pleased, she would come to his room tonight out of fear of ghosts. While thinking, Sania suddenly appeared outside and knocked on the door. He informed Barris that the queen had learned everything, that she knew we had obtained the soul circle and were searching for the witch. Barris did not seem too worried, maybe so, but Sania continued. It is only a matter of time before she is discovered as the witch. Sania knelt before Barris, asking for orders. If you allow me, I will go to the palace and kidnap the prince, the one the queen cannot live without. Barris said, calm down, my sister has appeared and I am not prepared. Barris continued, the crown prince has been formally invited under a reasonable pretext, so he will be here within 10 days. The reasonable pretext Barris referred to is that the queen came here out of curiosity about her brother's fiancé. Now, she must endure the aching body caused by the cold northern weather and is facing death. Even in her delirium, she still calls out her son's name. If he is truly her son, he should quickly come to see his mother before her condition worsens. August thought about it and realized that lying to a 14-year-old child like that might be. Barris said, there is a high possibility that the emperor will also come, but there is no other way. Barris's gaze became dangerous. I know my sister's nature best. If she wants something, she must have it. If necessary, she could sever someone's limbs to achieve her goal. We need to prepare a countermeasure before she pays more attention to Violet. Though it is cruel, I have to keep what she cherishes within reach. Only then will she not act recklessly. Barris said to August, find that strange witch as soon as possible. Secrecy is more important than speed, so be careful not to let any information reach her hands. Yes, I understand. As August was about to leave, Barris continued, Methalai, your sister. Has her body recovered? Barris thought, that troublesome doctor keeps getting between me and Violet. August replied, yes sir. He wondered why is he asking that. Barris thought, this is bad, I wish she would take longer to recover. I was planning to use her illness as an excuse to get rid of her. August clearly noticed Barris's displeasure, damn it. But contrary to Barris's thoughts, August thought, wonderful, our master finally has the compassionate eyes to understand another's heart. Methalai is the most precious person in my life, like a crown prince with his queen. After touching his most vulnerable spot, his compassion has also blossomed. So, spring has finally returned to the north. Perhaps it is because of his care that she has been improving lately. They say her body is now able to move, so no further treatment is needed. August cheerfully told Barris. Hearing this, Barris became even more upset. Why is that? I want to see Violet. Meanwhile, Violet was standing on the balcony, gazing at the starry night sky. Truly is a beautiful place. While admiring the sky, she suddenly noticed a familiar figure riding a horse below. It was none other than Barris. It seemed he was planning to go somewhere. Violet thought to herself, the most handsome and trustworthy man in the world is my husband. Thinking back, I wonder what happened to the men who were taken by him. If I did not know Barris well, I would probably think they would be disposed of without anyone knowing and thrown to the crows. But when I look closely, he is actually very different. He is very kind and considerate, a bit courteous but also quite heroic. That is right, I was given an anklet. Thinking about this, Violet lifted her dress and looked down at her foot. She looked at the sparkling anklet. But how exactly do you use it? This is a gift from Barris to me. I have to use it carefully, I can't even see the seams. Violet watches Barris leave, I will try asking Barris later. Although he seems cold, he is still a good husband. Violet looks a bit angry. Of course those jokes were a bit much. Anyway, I believe he would not harm anyone without reason. It is likely he sent that man back to his hometown. He will probably warn him to never come to the north again, something like that. Violet shines under the moonlight. Where has Violet's true spirit gone? Thinking of this, Violet's face shows a bit of sadness. All of this should have been hers. Violet looks down at her hands, wondering if it is too greedy to want to stay in this place forever. Violet looks up at the sky, feeling really guilty, but is not it cruel to just pretend not to know anything? Barris had noticed Violet standing on the balcony, stargazing. He admired her shimmering beauty. Barris smiled, knowing that this beautiful witch with sparkling eyes was his wife. Would she come to his bedroom again tonight? Barris was still naive, unaware that Violet had learned the truth. Dawn had arrived. Barris was now sitting anxiously on a chair, wondering why she had not come to his room last night. It is all right if I wait here, I might be able to meet you. Barris was deep in thought and did not notice that Violet had already arrived behind him. Seeing Barris, Violet was delighted. Did you sleep well? She asked. Barris looked very sleep-deprived. I could not sleep at all, he replied. Why did not you come yesterday? Violet was confused. Yesterday. Barris continued, I thought you would avoid Nephi and come to me. Realizing what he meant, Violet quickly kept her distance from Barris. Did something like that happen? She pouted, you keep mentioning Nephi just to tease me. That is too much, apologize right now. Seeing Violet like that, Barris could only apologize. Barris with a sad face, it is my fault, I am sorry. Seeing Barris like that, Violet thinks, actually I am not that angry anymore. Barris keeps apologizing like this, it is kind of nice, but if it goes on too long, it is pitiful. Better tone it down. She then reaches out to Barris. Take me to the fountain in the market. With just one sentence from Violet, all of Barris's sadness seems to vanish. He takes her hand, feeling like a knight to her. Thinking that, Barris kneels before Violet, feeling honored. After changing clothes, they head to the fountain. Both of them seemed shy and avoided looking at each other. They were both enjoying a very romantic atmosphere. Sania, sitting in a nearby building, had already noticed everything. This scene really caught her eye. She spoke to the person standing behind her. How's the investigation going? I am sorry, their movements became secretive early this morning, so the investigation is progressing very slowly. Sania thought, since we are openly investigating, of course they are going to take countermeasures. Even when being aggressive at times like these, that kid still shows undefeated skills on the battlefield. They say that when people from the north complete their mission, they conduct a preliminary investigation and use the overwhelming power of Barris. The important thing is not to block information but to remain silent and conceal everything. Not cute at all, Sania thought. These idiots can't gather accurate information and are only good at blocking it. She looked towards Violet. Compared to that, this girl seemed like a harmless creature, small, weak, and always smiling. A shadow crossed Sania's eyes, searching for the witch. From the palace to Barris's territory, from the eternal snowy mountains to the central border, do not forget to search the villages near the mines. I thought I had hidden it well, but compared to the palace's foxes, there is no comparison. If you look at what they are doing, there is about an 80% chance the witch is hidden somewhere. Sania smiled triumphantly, daring to raise a witch behind my back. Let us consider this a gift for my sister to enjoy, my dear little brother. Now, it is time for the outing to end. Violet smiled at Barris. Shall we go back? Barris smiles happily, following behind Violet. As they pass by a stall selling bows, Violet suddenly stops. Curious, Barris steps forward to see what caught Violet's attention. What Violet noticed was a turquoise bow. But after just a moment, Violet continues walking. Watching Violet's back, Barris starts thinking about something. If she has long hair, she definitely needs this. Why not buy it for her? But without thinking further, Barris leaves. It is beautiful, but suddenly someone pulls his cloak back. Barris, with a frightening expression, who is he? But when he turned around, Barris was startled. It was Sania with a very terrifying face. Quickly go find the fool. Barris was quite confused to see his sister so angry. Not knowing what else to do, he turned toward the stall. Take this. Violet waited for a while and then saw Barris return. Violet asked, where did you go? She smiled. Earlier it seemed you were talking to your sister, so I did not call you. Barris thought, I thought only I could sense her coming. Turns out she is truly a witch. Violet looked behind Barris. But where is she? Barris answered, she is gone now. But why are you curious about that? Violet said, I am a bit worried. I do not know the etiquette of the nobility. If you think it is appropriate, I think inviting your sister would be better. She is also part of your family and has come all this way to meet us. Hearing Violet say that, Barris thought, if you ask me, I just feel anxious because we could not meet, but family comes first. Barris smiled, family comes first. He told Violet, I am fine, I will tell her.